Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you. Don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you. Don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
Welcome to the Queen City and Charlotte, North Carolina. Well, Charlotte Metroplex anyways. For the J. Crawford Builders 300 as part of the Moonshiners Racing Cup Series. Tony Paso, Matt Medler up in the booth with you for this one. And Matt, it seems like we just were here a couple days ago. Oh, that's right, we were.
Yeah, they put us right down there, VIP premier parking in the infield. They got our motorhome side by side, and Tony, we've had a full serving of everything Charlotte has to offer, and it's been one heck of a ride. We have one more act to go, and it is going to be a great one. As you said, Crawford Builders pairing up here with the Moonshiner boys. Buckle in, get strapped, ready to go. Looking at the championship standings. They call him Sasquatch. Kenny Coppola, he has the lead, but it is a very slim and thin one. 1 point over his teammate Shane Davis, currently in second. And look how tight this race gets as you go further on down the list, Tony.
Well, here's the other big thing. If you take a look at current timing and scoring, Davis sits atop the pile here in the practice session. Coppola's only slotting into fifth. That's not going to maintain that points lead, but you're absolutely right. You know, we've got 6 points between third and fourth. A little bit of breathing room for Barry Sanders right now as far as Tim Wortman behind him. But, I mean, take a look down just outside the top 10. That is a tight fight right now, and it's an absolute slugfest. Right down there around 14th and 15th with Darren Mullins and Caleb Levenier being currently tied.
Yeah, that's really where the the hailstorm is, or the battle in the trenches, if you will. I mean,
you got Steve Harry in
paint.
Steve Harry in 13th. It's only 1 point above him.
Right. And I mean, just a position or two here on the final results, really can affect the outcome. As you're seeing there with, going back up the list, Barry Sanders, who was in third there for quite a while, now slips a little bit as Brandon Zimmerman now owns that third place spot. But as you said,
Only 6
Barry
points,
kind
man.
of on his only 6 points, but now Barry's kind of has an island all to himself over Kyle Holden, who's in fifth. But all this great high-flying racing action we see each and every Wednesday night on the racetrack, that all, attributes and flows to one place, and that is to these point standings, which become ever so more important the further we get into the season.
It absolutely does, and every point counts. So, when we get to it, these guys, it's no wonder why these guys race so hard, especially coming to those stage endings. Just one spot in the stage, that could mean the difference between, having, a position over somebody in the point standings. Every single point counts, especially since we're past the halfway mark of the season, I believe. Let me double check that.
Yeah, Tony, I believe you are correct there.
We are, because after this, we've got Worldwide Tech, Sonoma, Nashville, Chicago, Atlanta, New Hampshire, Pocono, Richmond, Michigan, Indy Road Course, Watkins Glen, and then Daytona Oval. That's it for the regular season. We are of the races that we have covered so far. This is race number 18 for these guys, considering we also did that we did their duels, we did their Coliseum race. There's only about 10 races left in this season so far, and it's about to get nasty.
And one thing that we really haven't seen that much of, we're going to get a good dose of on this remaining schedule, hello road courses.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest thing, as going back to what we were just looking at, as qualifying now underway. We've got where were we here? I saw Sonoma. Where the hell did I see it? Sonoma's 2 races out from now. Then we've got the Chicago Street Circuit on 4th of July weekend. Then we go to the Indy Road Course. And then we go straight to Watkins Glen from Indy. So, I mean, we're going to be hitting you with so many rights in these last 11 races of the season. You're going to be begging, or we're going to get you so many rights, you're going to be begging for a left by the time we're done.
Yeah, well said, Tony. And that's one thing you and I really don't know. I mean, we've seen these guys on the intermediates, the short tracks, the super speedways. We don't know who the big players are once you have to turn right and left and throw brakes in there as well. And that July 4th event there, Chicago Road Course, that one there really has me, kind of scratching my head and spiking the blood pressure at the same time. Is I've watched a couple of races there. There's barely room for one car to fit through some of that, some spots in that circuit, let alone 2. So, we definitely have some exciting moments, some exciting events here to come. Oh, is Kenny in that 77 had Bluetooth suspension there.
Yeah, he did. But look who just went to the top of the pile. The pride of Mount Pleasant, North Carolina, Randy Mullins. He told us before we went live that he had something for these boys tonight. I'm never going to doubt him again. How about you?
He definitely had some swagger in his voice, and I'm starting to see why, Tony.
Wow.
Just as I said that, Zimmerman comes up and knocks him off by a 10th, as does now Chris Spear. It seems like every time we start talking about the top of the pile.
And the hits just keep on coming as Mullins goes even quicker on lap 2.
29.67. That is a blistering lap by the driver of that 54, Randy Mullins.
Over a 10th quicker.
On Paul Gillimore.
Good
in the 11.
grief.
And that's still a heck of a lap by Paul at a 29.79.
Yeah, that's nothing to shake a stick at, that's for sure. As we're checking out, there's Chris Davis on track right now, currently sitting in 10th. As one of the other guys who always has pace, there he is in the 6th. That is Justin Belmonte.
Nice looking paint scheme on that Ford Mustang as well.
Very much is. And one of the bad luck kids himself. I mean, if it wasn't for bad luck, Jameson Middlemas wouldn't have any luck at all. Coming out of Salisbury, North Carolina, so just up the road a little bit here. But right now, Kyle Holden's got a hold of one, that's for sure. Went purple in the first sector, gives a little back in the second sector, but Holden still goes to the top of the pile.
With a screamer, 29.66.
Good grief. There's less than 1,000 separating those two.
And it looks like Kyle may hold on right now as Randy at 54 has both laps in the books at that 29.67. Kyle Holden holding down the point right now. So take a look at the 44 machine there on track as well. Caden Norfright.
Another one who's getting ready to crank it up out of Lexington, Kentucky. The boss man, Barry Sanders. Beautiful looking RS button box number 88 tonight.
Yeah, the Sandman, the silent assassin himself, slowly and steadily, methodically moves his way up through the field. Good long run each and every week.
Goes 21st quick on his first lap, and he's picking up on this second lap. First sector improves his time. Let's see what's going on here. He's got to really hustle it on this second lap.
Yeah, right now he's currently in 21st. Let's see what he is at the start-finish line here.
This is going to be a good one. Wow, 6 quick. That's nice, a good pickup. Very good pickup. As
probably the biggest we've seen.
It absolutely is. And then out of Spartanburg, Kane Lee out on track.
25
and the 25 being scored as the 39. That's not going to get confusing.
Yeah, you're right there, Tony. The 25 on the track is the 39 and scoring Kane Lee.
On his first of 2 flyers. As we are still waiting on quite a few drivers to lay times down. We've only got 27 that have put a time. Make that 28 now, with Lee going 28th quick. Matt Mackin has negated both of his laps in the 48.
Whoa, hold on to it, Lee.
Well, that's
he literally got out of the groove as I was reading the sponsorship on the side of the 25.
Yeah, you're not supposed to follow what's on the side of the car there, bud. But it was a good recovery. I mean, he got that car more sideways, I think, than anybody I've seen so far in this next-gen car and get it saved. Second lap not going to improve for him. Shane Davis, second in points. That beautiful teal chrome machine. That's the only way I can describe that thing. It's just straight out of Miami Vice.
That's what mean machine.
That's what that car reminds me of. It's something you would have seen if Miami Vice did NASCAR.
Yeah, well said there, Tony. I like to call it the mean machine. It's a machine, all right. And when you put that Team Watson setup underneath that race car, usually it is bad fast out there on the racetrack. Look at him way up top in the nosebleeds there, trying to get every ounce of momentum underneath that ZL1 Camaro as we see him rifling down the backstretch here, coming into the 3-4 complex. Well, let's see what he's got for...
He went 22nd quick on his first one. Oh, into the wall.
That's going to negate.
That's going to hurt.
Immediately locks it down.
That's going to hurt. Yep. Knows the lap is gone, gives it up. As there's Aaron Matthews in the Green River tire number 5. Green River, a proud sponsor here in in the Moonshiners League. Aaron goes 16th quick as David Balasari out on track right now. So we're taking a quick look at the weather conditions also. We're going to be finishing under the lights here. We're a little after 7 p.m. in sim time. 10-mile-an-hour winds have me a little bit concerned, Matt, as, you take a look at the orientation of this track. That's a straight crosswind coming out of 4. So I dare say that treacherous turn 4 is going to be even more treacherous here tonight. But track temperature is relatively cool so far. As Belisari only able to slot into 30th quick. Nicholas Atwood, Matt Mackin, Jamison Middlemas, and Derek Jacobs have all negated both of their qualifying laps.
Yeah, those are some big names here going to have to start deep in the field. They certainly have their work cut out for them, Tony. And turns 3 and 4, especially 4, that has been calamity corners during our stay here. Now you throw in a little bit of an invisible force you can't see, and the wind kind of helping things along there out of 4. That is going to be treacherous. I'm certainly concerned about 4, especially turn 4, especially as these Goodyears start to get some miles on those tires as well here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been between 9 and 15 mile an hour blowing as a cross breeze, which is probably the reason why we're seeing everybody go to the top of 1 and 2 to use that wall as coverage, so they don't get blown all over Hell's Half Acre coming off of 2. The bottom line in 1 and 2 tonight is also going to be treacherous, but turn 4, there's no hiding. It's blowing from the infield across turn 4 into that grandstand, and there's nowhere to hide coming to the line.
Yeah, I mean, that wind has got you in its sights when you're coming through that part of the racetrack. And 58% relative humidity, that these cars are going to be at max Q as far as horsepower is going to be concerned here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to be shy in that department as qualifying now finished up.
And there we see it. Kyle Holden sets quick time 29.662. 6,000th of a second. That's the distance between the tip of the front bumper to the start of the headlamps on these cars at speed. Approximately 4 inches. That's all that is.
Game of inches at over 180 plus miles an hour.
That's just amazing to me. Chris Davis and Justin Belmonte going to roll it from row number 2. Jeff Taylor, Barry Sanders Jr. in row 3. Row 4 is going to give us Paul Gillimore and Brandon Zimmerman. Chad Sullivan and Warren Young in row number 5. Row 6 is going to see Hunter Carmichael and Ryan Huff, with row number 7 going to Nick King and Chris Spear. And rounding out the top half of the field, John Binder and Aaron Matthews in row number 8. Matt?
Starting 17th from Beast Mode Performance, you know who it is, Sasquatch in the 77, Kenny Capola. Outside of him, from the Mid-South, the 78 ride, Wayne Bowen rolls off 18th. 19th, Bobby Justice, you know he's going to be in the 22 this evening. Outside of him from Indiana, 64 on the car, starts 20th on the racetrack. That is Darren Mullins from Indiana. 21st belongs to the Texan of Jordan Schmitz. Outside of him from Illinois, Tim Wortman Jr. rolls off 22nd. Starting 23rd tonight, Shane Davis, Beast Mode Performance in the 79. Look for him to make a charge to the front early. In 24th, Justin Sorrell in the 13. 25th from New York, Ed Broyles Jr. in the 38. Rolling off 26, the 69 machine from Bad Boy Racing, that is Garrett Crawford. 27th belongs to Paul Whitley in the 74. Jeff Carson, there is a guy that if he catches what break out there on the racetrack, folks, look out. He rolls off 28th here tonight in the 81. 29th, Darryl Klotz from Bad Boy Racing as well in the 99. Rounding out your top 30, David Balasari in the 45. 31st, Caden Norfry. 32nd, Kane Lee. Rolling off 33rd, David Centini in the 34 machine. 34th is Barry Stevens. And your final row here tonight in 35th, that's Derek Jacobs. In 36, Matt Mackin from Loose Lugs Racing.
We forgot Nick Atwood and Jamison Middlemiss, as Centini and Stevens both electing to pit start their rides. So 38 cars scheduled to roll it here tonight. 200 laps, 300 miles here at Charlotte, the home of NASCAR. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this, as the field working its way through the 3-4 complex. And it looks like they may have extended this caution, or this parade lap, because the lights are back on the pace car.
Yeah, lights are back on the pace car. Race control wants to make sure this field is sorted, racked, and stacked accordingly. And Tony, as you said, Concord, North Carolina, this is the home of NASCAR. So many of these racing teams, all right in this area of the country right here. And why not have these boys under the lights here one more time for at least for our finale from Charlotte here. It has been one heck of a week. Solid racing the whole time. Tony, glad to be alongside you up top here again in the SRM booth, as now those lights are off on the pace car.
This is my third race this last 7 days here in the announce booth. You've been on track for 2 races here, Matt. And in the booth for, now this is your second, but, definitely going to have to be mindful of the track getting cooler as the sun continues to set here tonight. This is going to be something that, these guys are really going to have to pay attention to. And I forgot to ask how many tire sets we have. I believe it's 6 tonight. If you could hit your space bar and let me know about that, Matt.
On it for you, boss man.
As the field working its way through the 3-4 complex, Holden going to have the button. Geico restart zone in full effect tonight here at Charlotte. The only thing that's left for me to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab the brisket, because it's time to get it on in Charlotte. Race fans, it's showtime!
Grab the biscuit, kick the Trisket. We are green underway here from Concord, North Carolina. It's the 59 drag race in the Mullins and the 54 on the outside. Still 2x2 as we go through the turns 1 and 2 complex for the first time. Now the 59 ride, he's going to kick it out in front, 2x2 behind him, Tony.
Absolutely. Still side by side up in the front of this beast as they haul it off into turn number 3, still door to door. Mullins trying to make a move on the high side. And coming to the stripe for the first time, Mullins going to get the lead. Holding in second, Davis and Belmonte. Belmonte right now side by side as he's way up on the top shelf.
Oh, yeah, he was up into the nosebleeds, but he's found some speed up there. Look at this, going for the crossover now. Here comes the 29 Eaton on the bottom. The 11 machine of Paul Gillimore, he's up top right now as well as 2.
Working door to door with Chad Sullivan as the 21 able to get the drive off of 4. That Pepsi machine on the high shelf, not able to make it stick. He's doing what he can, but you know as well as I do, Matt, this track really does favor the bottom side simply because you're less punishment on the right side tires. So, Gillimore going to have to get down there quickly before too much longer here.
Yet if he doesn't know that, he's going to find out here in a couple more laps, because you pay a heavy piper for running up there. Those right sides, they check out to lunch, dinner, you name it. The only way to fix that is when you come down pit road and put 4 more Goodyears on that race car. As you can see, he's trying to get down, but Hunter Carmichael has other plans as now he pulls alongside. He's going to get on by the 11. Now he's going to squeeze down in front of the 65. And there's Nick King going up top.
King going up to the top shelf, but we were talking earlier about bad luck kids. Hunter Carmichael has caught a race car to the face in every broadcast you and I have done for this league so far.
Yeah, Hunter Carmichael, Jeff Carson, and company. I mean, I call them the bad voodoo boys because they just cannot catch a break. The bad luck kids. He's certainly one of them. Is Carmichael, usually things go well for him in the beginning. It's about that midpoint in time of the race. There's the other gentleman right there. He just needs a little bit of luck on his side. Beautiful looking car as always in that Toyota Camry, but Jeff Carson, I mean,
Carson always has a long run car too, so don't pay any attention to the fact that he's towards the back end of the field. Once the tires start to wear off and you have to really get up on the wheel, that's when Carson comes alive. But right now, up towards the front, Holden and Davis going after each other.
Oh, get skinny there, boys. The 59 trying to come down. The 29 of Davis says, I don't think so. Is that Davis is going to come on by him, but now look that's reeling in the rearview mirror. There's the 6 of Justin Belmonte. That 6 is really eating on the bottom, right on that white and blue line, right where you want to be. And don't look now, just behind him, Jeff Taylor in 5th. He's coming with the head of steam as well.
They are, but they are currently side by side behind them. Is that Sullivan and Sanders just going after each other? As Sullivan almost gets into the wall coming off of 4. Big wiggle out of the 21. And luckily, he keeps it pointed straight. That caught Sanders out. Here comes King on the top shelf in the mobile. Mobile? It doesn't say mobile.
1.
No, that doesn't say mobile 1.
Oh, you're right. It just says mobile. How about
No, it says Martin.
Martin. Mr. King playing with the broadcast booth here. I'm not quite sure what Martin is, but I'm sure we'll find out before the end of this one.
Well, we'll have to ask him when he gets in the victory lane, but he's going to have to get by Randy Mullins to do it. I mean, Randy, for the most part, Randy has called his shot right up to this point.
Yeah, he's Babe Ruth this one from the jumping into the broadcast booth early. He's putting us on alert saying, hey, boys, watch me. I got a piece that is FAST fast. And he is showing it right now as he continues to lead the way. But look at the 59 of Kyle Holden swarming. He's going to send it top shelf now as he's going to try the high side, see if he can get around that 54.
Well, I mean, you can make something happen on the top shelf as Holden gets a little bit better run coming off of 2, able to slingshot pass going into 3. You use that downhill. I wouldn't go to that, that pitch too often. That's your bread and butter pitch. Use it sparingly because you really don't want to punish those right side tires in the early going any more than you really have to.
Yeah, that's my worry right now is we've seen Holden up there. We've seen Nick King, who's still running the high side here in that number 4 Martin Ford Mustang there. And now here's 54 is now going to run the middle here. That's going to open the door for Chris Davis as he's thinking about making a move. And he better think something quick because that 6 machine of Belmonte is right on the back door. Should he slip, that 6 is not going to waste any time as they are packed for that spot right there, right on that 3rd place position. Justin Belmonte, Nick King coming into the picture there as well as he continues to roll the top. All of this just in back of the leader, who is at 59 of Kyle Holden, Randy Mullins, under siege now.
He's throwing the kitchen sink at it to try to keep Davis behind him, but right now, Belmonte working with Davis, giving him a little touch and shove going through the front chute. And Mullins really trying to get after it on the top side, not able to really make it stick, not quite as comfortable as he was, A, with the clean air, and B, down on the low side. It's now he's got to go way up top as King almost got into him going into 3.
Yeah, he had to really wheel that car to catch it from to staying out of that outside retaining wall. And just as we say that, here comes the 6 machine of Belmonte. He's going to send it in down low. He's got the position and the advantage. Huge wiggle for the 54. It's going to be 3 wide, Tony.
Good grief. Mullins somehow saved that. No idea how, but he somehow saved that. and nobody got into him. That's the most impressive part. Everybody had it well spotted, as now he's in an absolute dogfight with Chad Sullivan. Barry Sanders right there as well. That is your battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th. And don't look now, but anybody want to cue the Jaws music?
You know what we're talking about, Sasquatch. He's making some time working the top as well, as he's thinking about pulling the trigger there on the 88. Your head chief, bottle watcher, HMFIC, no matter how you want to put it. Ew, look at this dogfight right here. Carmichael right there as well.
Zimmerman.
65 is
Carmichael
Zimmerman.
into the wall.
In the wall. A broadcaster's curse. I am sorry, Carmichael.
Well, we talked about it earlier, you know. If it wasn't for bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all and just went a little too high. Almost got put in a 3-wide situation. Luckily, kept the car under him, kept it pointed in the right direction, and we stayed green. As now he and Zimmerman going after each other again. Carmichael regrouped, and he didn't lose a lot of ground. Ain't scared.
No. Oh, I know Carmichael ain't scared to get up there next to the wall. Like we were saying, Tony, sometimes these guys need a little bit of the...
Whoa!
Are you serious?
Warren Young was completely dirt track sideways coming through, too. As that Summit Racing number 42, still sideways off of 4. He might have that thing just a little too much on the loose side here as the sun is still out.
Yeah, that car may be set up for the nighttime, but we got to get there first, and he is a dirt track special out there right now in that 42. Hold on to it, son. We go back up towards the front here. 23 of Jeff Taylor coming into the picture.
And we were talking about Randy Mullins. We got to talk about Pops, as he's in a 3-wide situation. Davis into the wall. Pandemonium.
83 getting air through the grass, going Psycho Circus or Nitro Circus there.
We stay green. Where's race control? Wow. How was that not a caution? There were cars scattered,
everywhere,
smothered, and covered coming off of 4.
Waffle House special.
Let's go back and take a look at that one. Well, let's back this up a little more. There you see, this is the replay. Keep your eye on Davis on the top side. And he's going to get 3 wide with Mullins on the low side. Darren Mullins, the dad. Thanks, Dad.
Jane says, I'm going to squirt through right here. Nope, not today. He gets hooked into the wall by the 7, then comes down. The 83 gut punches the 5, catches air not once but twice.
John Binder had nowhere to go, just completely got into the 75. That's what sent him into the grass. And somehow we stay green.
Incredible. Did you see the air some of those guys caught, Tony?
Oh, yeah, there was daylight under those cars as Davis brings it down to burn his fast repair. Maybe a little earlier than he really wanted to, is right now Davis, Mullins, and going after each other for second.
Yeah,
and then that is just an absolute hornet's nest back there around behind Justin Belmonte, as it's Zimmerman, Taylor, and King all trying to get it sorted out.
Yeah, Jeff, it all started there when Taylor in the 23, he got sent to the grass and lost a lot of momentum, and that the accordion effect was on full display there as Nick King did everything but not turn him, trying to get load up. The 78 is well side by side now with King. That's Wayne Bowen working that car down low, and I worry about the way Nick King in that 4 car has spent most of this first run, these 23 laps up top. Those tires really can't have much more oomph left in the tank based upon what we've seen, Tony.
Well, we got a battle for 4th starting to heat up now, as Mullins unfortunately had to go to the top side as Belmonte dove it going into 3. Sanders is already up into 3rd. We missed that pass as Sanders and Belmonte still door to door trying to figure out 4th places. Matt, I unfortunately forgot to ask Barry when the stage caution was going to be tonight.
Let me see what I can do to help out there, Tony.
But, I mean, right now, these guys are racing it like it's lap 199,
Oh, they touched.
not only 24. They did bang fenders coming through turn number 4. That treacherous breeze really starting to heat up. We're still at 10 mile an hour. So this is the calmest it's been so far, but it's still a cross breeze where you really don't want to be on the top side, as we've got cars banging the wall coming off a 2 as well. I believe that's, yes, it is. That is the 23 of Taylor, Bowen, and Carmichael, all almost getting into each other back there. But checking back up here with Belmonte and Mullins, they're trying to get it sorted out. And it's got to be frustrating for Brandon Zimmerman, because he's sitting back there going, y'all need to figure this out quick, because I want to go through.
Yeah, that's the 65 ride Tony's referring about. He's got a blockade right in front of him in the form of Belmonte in the 6 and Randy Mullins outside him in the 54. All while this is going on, Zimmerman just trying to figure out which line he's going to go, because if it doesn't, he's going to find his own way around there, as you see him starting to link in closer right off the back of that 6 car being piloted by Belmonte.
Well, he's not going to have a choice much longer, as here comes Wayne Bowen. Bowen looking on the outside, as they still haven't gotten that one sorted out.
Now,
and all they're doing right now is they're letting Barry Sanders get further and further up the road with these guys running side by side like this.
Yeah, Barry Sanders gets away, and everyone else in back of him, the 65 Zimmerman, Bowen, Jeff Taylor, Carmichael, Sullivan, they're just letting them reel these 2 in. So you're really going to have a packed, stacked rack of cars right around that 5th place position, as finally now they get it sorted, as the 6 is going to prevail. And look at the 65 of Zimmerman right there to strike, as the 6 was able to get to prevail there, get ahead of the 54 of Mullins. Now he's going to squeeze in between the 2.
Mullins going to try to battle back on the top side. The 65 of Zimmerman still looking on the low side. He was looking for a 2 for coming off a 4, but he might lose one if he's not careful, because Mullins has it wound up on the top shelf, and he's able to wrestle that spot back. Mullins back to 5th, Zimmerman down to 6th. Your biggest mover right now is that number 78 of Wayne Bowen, who is right behind these guys right now.
Yeah, up 11 spots here early. Big movements. Going big here in the early going. Wayne Bowen in the 78 machine. And he has been exciting to watch, as is Hunter Carmichael and the rest of these guys. Like you said, Tony, you would have thought it would have been 20 laps to go. No, we're barely inside of 30 laps up here at the front. And it is an all-out slugfest.
Oh, it absolutely is. As, bear with me here, I'm just trying to see if I can figure out when the stage caution is going to be. I got nothing.
Yeah, once it calms down here around the 88, I'll try to jump in his Discord and see if I can ask him, but I don't want to bother him with all this crazy action going on the racetrack right now.
Battle for the lead.
29, Chris Davis says, I'm going to take that thank you, as he tries to go ahead and pull the trigger, but not without a big fight from the 59 as he gets pointed up north. But that's where the momentum is. If you don't burn your tires off, you can go up there and make it work. But not when Kyle, or the 29 of Chris Davis, sends it in on the bottom, is able to make it stick. He's going to clear up in front, prepare for the crossover, perhaps. As he doesn't take it, I thought for certain there Kyle Holden would have tried to cross him up, as Barry Sanders now up to 3rd, knocking on the back door of the lead, as he's watching Kyle Holden trying to hold on here now, as he's going to turn it down low, going into the turns 1 and 2 complex. Could Barry Sanders be on a charge up to 2nd, as he is now side by side, slowly edging, taking the advantage away from Kyle Holden, as there's still John Force special in it down the back, Tony.
Side by side going into turn number 3. That's Sanders on the low side, holding your pole sitter on the top shelf. Still door to door as they come through the 3-4 complex. Sanders with a nose out front. Here comes Holden back on him. Sanders finally gets the clear in the middle of the dogleg.
Sanders now up 4 spots to 2nd. That 88 machine looking Dale Jr.-esque here in the later going of his career. Is that 88 is looking wicked fast, especially on the long run. Up 4 spots. Look at the 59. He's not done yet, as he's still putting the pepper on the back of Sanders in the 88.
Well, he got into him a little bit on the back straightaway. He had a better run coming off it too, but neither one of them turned, so we're good. We stay green. Working lap 35 now of 200 here tonight. As we got some battling going on back there for 15th. That is your points leader, Kenny Coppola, currently sitting in 16th spot as it's Jeff Carson and Jordan Schmeetz. Throw a blanket over those guys as they got Warren Young right in front of them. Coppola into the wall coming off a 3.
Yeah, that's not where the 77 wants to be. Clearly, that Toyota not driving how Sasquatch wants right now. As you see the 41 there of Justin Schmeetz trying to take that spot for 13th there. I'm sorry, 14th on the bottom. That's going to put Kenny Coppola almost on the cusp of being just inside the top 15. You watch Jeff Carson here battling that 42 for position.
Finally gets the clear coming off of 4. Carson up to 14th. It's one of your closest battles on track right now, as we are going to go back to that fight for 5th. As there you see Brandon Zimmerman. He has it. Wayne Bowen currently sits plus 12 right behind him. Trying to reel him in is, again, working lap 37. You've worn all the goodie off the tires. Now it's elbows up. Let's wheel this machine. And this is how you tell who the drivers are and who the steering wheel holders are. The steering wheel holders, they're going to go to the back. The drivers are going to go forward. And right now, your biggest mover of anybody is that number 81 of Carson, sitting plus 14. And just as I say that, Nick Atwood, plus 15, up to 22nd.
Yeah, Carson and Atwood, again, being some of the biggest movers in the race through 39 laps of competition. As we watch that 24 machine going past the start-finish line. Going to take it back now to this King versus
Carson.
Jeff battle. Carson, thank you. Side by side, door to door. Both these drivers here could use a dose of good luck for once here. Is the 81 now has a slight advantage on the bottom. You see the 4 machine of King just lift ever so slightly. That smart give and take there on the racetrack. Big wiggle coming out of King. Tony, that could be a byproduct of him running the top shelf. Oh, no. Kenny around. Gonna put it in the pits there, not by design. Is that does not bring out a caution flag, and we still remain under green. What happened to Coppola?
Well, that's Davis right in front of him, his teammate. That's number 1 and number 2 in the points. The wind just sent him up into the wall.
Yeah, it just grabbed that car and just pushed it right into the wall.
Let's watch that again. That car just blonk gone.
It just went straight there, Tony.
It absolutely did. That might have even been a hardware failure, because that car just turned right.
Yeah, you just seen a slight wiggle before it took off, quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Let's watch this again. That's a hardware failure.
Yeah, the steering wheel, something just disconnected there momentarily. At probably the worst time possible as he tests to back it around the end of pit road there. He brings it immediately right into his pit box.
Well, the good news is for both Coppola and Davis, and Coppola just put it on the hauler.
Well, we heard that Coppola may have some trouble finishing this race because of his work schedule here tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And with some adversity earlier on in the race, probably looks to just salvage the night, get what he can.
Get the show points and move on to next week.
Exactly.
And all he's got to do now is hope Shane Davis doesn't come back and win this thing. As right now we're watching the battle for fourth. That's your pole sitter, Kyle Holden, on the top shelf. Here comes Wayne Bowen, currently sits plus 14 up to fourth, and he's bringing Brandon Zimmerman with him. As looks like Kyle Holden may have burned his tires up a little too early, trying to lead this piece in the early going. But right now, those guys, they have the long run sets in their car. They're starting to move forward.
Yeah, they certainly are starting to move forward. Wayne Bowen being one of them right there in that fourth place position in that 78 machine. There he is right there working just in front of Kyle Holden there in fifth. And look, don't look now, Tony, but look who is knocking on the back door of the top 10. Jeff Carson up 15 spots in that 81. He is there, and he is coming up through the field with fury.
And that's the 54, Randy Mullins, in front of him. Mullins, another one, just completely burned the right sides off, running that high line as long as he had to.
And that was a big concern that I had watching some.
Battle for second as Sanders has some problems. He's going to drop to fourth. There's problems behind him.
Hold your breath.
Okay.
There's Jeff Taylor, a.k.a. Jeffy T.
Okay, something's going on, Matt, because all these guys have slowed right down.
Yeah, caution now on the racetrack.
There we go. Apparently that was the stage. That would be my guess, because I haven't seen anything really happen. Well, it looks like that was the stage. Bowen, Davis, Sanders, Belmonte, Zimmerman, Holden, Sullivan, Taylor, Carmichael, and Darren Mullins.
Darren Mullins in the 64 there.
The dad getting the final point for the stage. So with that, we are going to step away, pay a couple bills, and we will be right back with driver interviews as soon as they finish their pit stop. And we are back at Charlotte for stage one in the books. Wayne Bowen, your stage one winner. Done and dusted with his pit stop. And Matt, I believe you've got our stage winner with you now.
Well, Toyota's slogan is "Let's go places," and the man that went the farthest distance of that one, it seemed, the first leg, he's led the stage there, coming to the caution flag. Wayne Bowen in that 78 machine. How is that car? How's the performance in that car right now? What do you got for him here in the long run?
Well, I just taking my time, just saving the car. Just got a good long run car. Hated to take the stage away from them there like that. I don't know if it was miscommunication or what for checking up for the stage break, but I raced to the caution flag comes out, and they checked up in turn one for no reason. I almost run over them, but again, no flags out. I'm going hard until then. But either way, we got a good car. We come from deep in the pack, just taking our time. Car's really driving good. It's just use my head, just keep the fenders on it, and it's got a long ways to go.
You know, you mentioned the car's driving good right now. What do you anticipate this track's going to do as that sun continues to set? Are you going to be able to maintain that piece into the night?
Actually, I think it'll work out. I'm anticipating the track tightening up a little bit, which would be in my favor. So if that happens, we'll be good. If not, we'll adjust on it. But we got a good piece. It's fast. It's got speed.
Yeah, I'll say it's got some speed. Ladies and gentlemen, there he is, your winner of segment 1, currently out in front, sitting right behind that iRacing.com pace car. Wade Bowen driving of the 78 machine. You can hear the confidence in his voice, Tony. He's got a rocket ship, and he is not afraid to use it here at Charlotte.
Wayne, am I putting you back in Warrior?
Okay.
No,
Oh,
where am I?
no. I'm in beast mode.
Gotcha. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you, bud.
As soon as I find them. There they are. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Matt. You can hear the confidence, and that's a true racer. It's same thing in any sport. Until you hear the umpire yell time or you hear the ref blow the play till you hear the whistle. That's the one thing in most team sports that you hear every coach say: play till you hear the whistle and go hard until you hear that whistle. Then you can back off of it, and that's exactly what Wayne did to come home with the stage 1 victory.
Hey, those stage wins, those all accumulate to what? Points. Those ever so critical points. I know we talked a lot about Wayne there, but how about Barry Sanders Jr.? He's going to be outside of Wayne on the front row from Lexington, Kentucky. There's another car that's been hot here in the early going. Having a great run there in the 88 for Barry Sanders Jr. as well.
And definitely, that Chevy has been strong all season. He's got a couple podiums, hasn't quite, he's been the bridesmaid. He hasn't been the bride yet, but, looking to change that here tonight. He's got a very strong long run car in that Chevy team.
Certainly does. And, just as much action in that second row as well with Belmonte and Davis there in the 6 and 29. I mean, all these guys up front, they were slicing and dicing. It was hot and heavy, a smothered and covered Waffle House style there as those lights are out on the pace car.
As Shane Davis took the wave around, got one of his 3 laps back after getting unceremoniously tagged in the early going. Green flag is out. Bowen drops the hammer. Sanders now under attack from Chris Davis.
Yeah, Chris Davis looking to turn that ride underneath the 88. Thinks about it. He hesitates. Now he's going to go down low with the 29 of Chris Davis. They're going to hang Sanders out to dry there all alone on the top. But look at the 88 fight back on those fresh Goodyears, knowing he can do that. But you don't want to do it very long as he looks to take back the spot there from Chris Davis. But he is charging back hard on the bottom.
Well, like we've seen in the previous 2 races that I've had the chance to broadcast here, the bottom lane is where you want to be in the later going, but the top side on fresh tires can actually work. Just, use it sparingly. It's like somebody that can throw a good knuckleball. You don't throw it every pitch. You fastball, changeup, knuckleball, curveball. You've got to mix those pitches up. And right now, Sanders is going to the knuckleball, trying to hang it on the top side. And Davis is not giving him an inch right now. As finally Sanders gets the clear coming off a 2, and Davis is going to have to slide in behind him as we've got an absolute brawl back there for 5th.
Oh, this is a backyard slugfest right here between Zimmerman, the 59 of Holden, the 21 of Sullivan. Thought about going 3 wide there, turns it down to the bottom at the last minute. Carmichael's there as well.
Carmichael hanging tough right now, but your biggest mover is Jeff Carson as he's back there just outside the top 10. We got problems. Oh, we've got big problems. Bobby Justice, Jamison Middlemiss. What happened to those 2? There you see Justice in the double deuce, running the low side. Middlemiss in the 16 is in front of him. 3 wide. Shane Davis. Oh. A lap car, and the 48 of Matt Mackin one more time gets turned. Ah, God. You gotta feel for Matt Mackin, as he's another one that has taken a race car to the face or a wall to the face in every broadcast we have done for this league.
If I'm Matt Mackin, I'm changing my last name. I understand that's his last name is Mackin, but that guy gets macked every single week, it seems, one way or another.
There you see Shane Davis making a move. Now, Davis is a lap car at this point, and he puts it 3 wide coming through the dog leg of all places. And unfortunately, the 99 of Darrell Klotz catches a huge piece of that one. Jamison Middleman's car is completely destroyed, as is the double deuce of Bobby Justice. Those two cars look like they've been through a meat grinder right now. And, Matt Mackin's car, the right front fender is completely missing. How that right side suspension arm is still attached, I'll never know. Holy Christmas, what a bad one.
Unfortunately, just who you would suspect to be in it, unfortunately, that's the case. Middle Miss and others. Matt Mackin once again, caution now on the racetrack, working lap 56 to 200.
And Matt, I believe you've got the driver of the 16 with you now. Matt?
Try it again. Jameson Middle Miss. You got me. Matt up in the booth.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Well,
what happened?
What happened to the car there, Jameson? What's the story there from the racetrack, sir?
Honestly, I don't know. I got in the middle somewhere and got bounced everywhere. I was a pinball.
It looked like Shane Davis took you 3 wide coming through the dog leg.
Okay.
I mean, did your spotter tell you he was coming, or just a surprise, I'm here kind of deal?
It was surely a surprise.
Well,
I can hear the rejection in your voice again there, Jameson. It just seems like you're always on the short end of the stick. Every time there's a caution flag, unfortunately, you can almost insert your name into it before we even check it back. What is it going to take to get this turned around for you? You definitely have speed in your race cars. It's not for lack of effort. What do you do to turn this thing around for you over the course of the season? How do you do it?
Well, I need more seat time in these things. I have a pretty busy week, so I don't get much time to get some laps in.
Well, Jameson, we appreciate you being out here, and thanks for taking the interview. But ladies and gentlemen, trouble finding his race car here once again from Concord, North Carolina. The driver of the 16 on pit road, trying to get that ride repaired as we speak. That is the driver, Jameson Middle Miss. Tony, back to you.
And Jameson, how far away is Salisbury from Concord?
It's actually about 25 to 30 minutes.
Fair enough. Too bad, at least it's a short ride home. So, best of luck to you next week, Jameson, and hopefully you can get your season turned around.
Thank you.
But Matt, yeah, you're absolutely right. You could hear the dejection in his voice there, as we are under caution, and it's just you hate to see it. I mean, yeah, Shane Davis has one of the fastest cars week in and week out, but you've got to realize you're a lap car, and those guys in front of you are actually battling for position. You've got to, double think. I mean, yeah, you're probably driving angry because you got taken out early, but you've really got to use your head when you're running around guys that are actually racing for position in front of you, like Mackin, Middle Miss, and Justice were.
Yeah, situational awareness out there on the racetrack, and I get it. Like you said, got a fast car, probably aggravated that you're sitting there in that position. But of all places to do that, especially Calamity Corner,
you never do it through the dog leg.
Oh, no, that's the worst place to do it.
You might be able to get away with a 3 wide coming off a 2, and possibly just before you get to 3, but you really have to calculate it. You really have to time it just right. because, I mean, let's face it, this track is not a 3-wide track.
And believe me,
Best,
I
it's
wish it
2 wide.
was.
Oh, yeah,
I,
absolutely. But here we
look,
go, ready to go back to green. Bowen going to have the trigger one more time. Sanders to his outside. Let's see if the boss man and the 88 can get a better restart. Into the Geico restart zone they go. Bowen held him down a little bit. And here comes Davis on the attack for second.
Davis climbing up through the gearbox on the loud pedal. He's going to pull ahead of the 88 in tow. Has the 6 of Belmonte. Sanders having to fight for his own life there on the top shelf. As he's going to get some help there from the draft from the 29, able to pull himself back around the 6 of Belmonte. Sanders now holds third. Oh, it's a love tap. Gets administered to the 78.
Sanders into the wall. 3 wide on the front stretch. This is going to end poorly.
Oh,
Sanders wisely jumping on the brake pedal as Davis and Sanders still side by side as the 65 of Zimmerman was looking to go 3 wide as well. Still looking to go 3 wide as the door gets slammed on them. These guys are just flat getting it right now as they are 3 wide going into 3.
Oh, hold your breath. There's Carmichael on the top shelf. He is way up there. Sanders trying to clear.
Don't do it. Carmichael into the wall, still 3 wide. What are you doing?
They must have heard us in the booth. Said, we're going to show you guys you can.
I think I just broke the armrest on my wheelchair from white knuckling it. So here comes Sanders back on Bowen. The 29 of Davis currently with the nose back out in front. Bowen caught on that high side and he does not want to be up there.
No, I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to be up there either. Look at this.
He was about to slam the door on Sanders. Only thing is, Sanders was already there. Now Bowen goes back on the defense. As Davis trying to play both halves against the middle. Bowen and Belmonte door-to-door for third.
They are door-to-door, slicing and dicing all over this racetrack, right at the front of the field. Here comes Belmonte trying ever so to get around that 78 on the high side, but the 78 is not having it. Now the middle miss comes, Belmonte there in the 6 as well. He's going to take it up north. Right in back of them, there's Hunter Carmichael in the 3.
And Carmichael's got to be careful because he's blasted the wall a couple times as Sanders looks to the inside of Davis going through 3. He's got position. Davis now caught on the top shelf as we've got 63 in the books and Barry Sanders Jr. to the lead.
Don't look now. The Sandman strikes early in this one. Not even lap 100, and we have a change for the lead. Barry Sanders Jr. to the front, as it almost seemed disaster was going to strike the leaders here just moments ago. As missiles were being fired, not one of them connected. As Sanders jumped hard on the binders, able to avoid trouble. And now look who is out in front, the 88 machine of Barry Sanders, and he's bringing Belmonte in the 6 with him.
Belmonte with a little bit of a wiggle coming through the dog leg. That's going to give Davis a little bit of breathing room. Here comes the 21 of Sullivan on the top shelf with Carmichael in tow. Oh, it is an absolute brawl right now for third. Sullivan and Belmonte were door to door. As now Sullivan looking to get a twofer on Davis as well, using the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Sullivan up into second.
Sullivan is salivating right now. You know he wants more. But look at this dogfight. The 29, the 21. Davis on the bottom still refuses to give him the spot. He's going to get an advantage, but you know that bottom line, they really get the energy. They get that push going into the corner. But here comes Carmichael on the top shelf as well. That's going to give Sullivan the clear advantage now in second. Carmichael trying to take third from the 29 ride. He needs some help from the 6 of Belmonte upstairs as well.
Davis having a little bit of connection issue. Matt, if I could have you check his ping for me. Right now, Belmonte starting to battle back using the top shelf. He saw Carmichael and Davis do it. Carmichael and Sullivan. As now Davis going to slot back. As he's now got a battle with Jeff Taylor behind him. And that is another brawl back there just outside the top 5. with Taylor, Holden, Bowen, and Young.
Yeah, that must have been a random just blink on his part, as his ping is stable right at about 79.
Good times. Throw a blanket over 6th through 12th right now, folks. As we've got another slugfest for the lead. Here comes Sullivan to the inside of Sanders going through 3.
Yeah, Sullivan goes to the inside on Sanders. Don't look now, but there is Carmichael in the 3 right off the tail of the 21. He is lurking all over the back of Sanders as he's trying to fend off Sullivan, working the bottom in that Ford Mustang, coming through the turns 1 and 2 complex, going down the back straight.
Sullivan had to chase it down the track coming off a 2.
Little too much spice coming off the corner there, is able to corral it. That's going to give Barry Sanders a little bit of breathing room there. Is now Hunter Carmichael all over Sullivan for second.
Carmichael making a big swing at it, coming off a 4, keeps his foot in it, nose out front for the 3, goes way up to the top side to try to keep that number 3 wound up. He's going to get the slingshot coming down the back chute. Carmichael out in front of Sullivan. Sullivan going to slot back into 3rd. Carmichael +9 up to 2nd.
See what happens when some of these guys have some good luck for a change. Carmichael in the 3 up to 2nd, fending off a very hungry, hard-charging 21 Sullivan. And just in back of Sullivan, don't look now, Justin Belmonte continues to lurk and loom in the 6th. Only one person loves seeing this more than everyone else does on the broadcast, and that is Barry Sanders in the 88. He is loving life right now, watching these guys dogfight, as that allows him to open up a little bit of an advantage. But there's Jeff Taylor in the 23 machine. He is right there in 7th.
And Taylor has tried to take the safer barriers down the last 2 corners, pounded the wall coming off a 2. That's going to let the 65 of Zimmerman get to his inside. You got to think that the 23's got toe link damage on that car out of Rocky Mount, Virginia. Not to be confused with Rocky Mount, North Carolina, which, if you're ever driving on 77 and you're in Rocky Mount, good luck getting a cell signal.
Does not exist.
Absolutely not. Coming over the hill, forget about it. And you better be chewing gum, because I guarantee your ears are going to pop. Taking a look back here, just outside the top 10. That's the 78 of Bowen and the 42 of Young. Going door-to-door, absolute brawl with Schmeeks right there. And Randy Mullins, Jeff Carson not too far behind.
Yeah, Carson is in the heat of the storm right there. As you see him, he's just trying to hold on right now, waiting for that 81 to come the fire in. That's a great long-run car. He's working right off the back of Schmeets there. The 5 ride of Aaron Matthews right behind the 81. And there's the 11 there as well. Tony, pick your poison, whatever spot of this racetrack you want to cover right now. There is high-flying racing action all over this place. Third battle for 3rd right now. There is going to be Belmonte as Carmichael continues to have the advantage, going way up north, way upstairs where Mama hides the cookies. Here comes 6th. Belmonte, he is not going to be denied as he pulls alongside him at the start-finish line. He'll have the advantage going into 1, and a little help from the 29 of Davis behind him. Belmonte now up to 3rd.
Davis right there as well, trying to hang on as Belmonte under heavy pressure. As you've got Belmonte, Davis, and Carmichael all running right there. Battle for the lead. Sanders looking to the inside of the 21.
Big
Sullivan
wiggle.
gets the run coming off a 4. Big wiggle out of the 14. That's going to let Belmonte get to the back bumper. And it looks like he's going to go with the Chevy instead of his Ford stablemate.
That's odd. But hey, why would you expect anything different here throughout the course of 76 laps of this one? Pick your poison. The 88 remains out in front, but the 21 giving it everything he has right now to try to size up the 88. Get Barry Sanders driving out of the rearview mirror, make a slip, and you know he will take the spot, as we are door-to-door still with Belmonte, and Carmichael refusing to give up that 3rd place position as he is really reeling on that, or really taking on the pressure there, going up top. Now he's going to give the spot back to the 6th. Is Belmonte once again going to take the third place position from Hunter Carmichael, who now resides in fourth. But he doesn't have a lot of time to breathe as the 29 of Davis is right there.
Carmichael has gone to that pitch just one too many times in this tire run, and that's why Belmonte was able to defend. Now Carmichael has to worry about Davis and Zimmerman right behind him as Kyle Holden starts to peek his nose into this picture. And then you've got a little bit of breathing room back to 8th of Darren Mullins. Dad taking it to the kid as Randy Mullins had a fast car in the early going. Now that he's in traffic, forget about it. That thing's out to lunch.
Yeah, so unfortunate. And that's a big byproduct of this race car, right, Tony? That clean air is everything. You said it for clean air. It's going to drive way different in traffic. It's going to be a handful, and unfortunately, that's what's going on inside the Mullins camp right now. Still has time to make some adjustments on it, but Hunter Carmichael may have used up a little bit of those right side tires there, going up top like he has, as he's now under duress. There you see Mullins in that 54 machine. Nick King getting around him on the outside there, as Mullins is going to fight back on the bottom. Oh, look at the 78. He's feeling racy. Looks to split him through the middle, but that hole closes up. Wayne Bowen still throwing haymakers out here.
Yeah, to quote Jane Silent Bob, suck it in because it's getting real skinny there coming through the dog leg.
Get skinny.
And we've got another battle for the lead as Sullivan looks to the inside of Sanders going through 3 and 4 again. And he's looking to bring Belmonte with him.
Saying, Belmonte, give me a push, and that's exactly what he does to help him get past the 88. Now is the 6 going to be able to clear with him? No, they separate going through the turns. Look at how low the 21 is on that white and blue line. That's the way to get around Charlotte, especially when you got some laps on those Goodyears. It's a slugfest for Belmonte and Barry Sanders. They are still door-to-door, neck and neck, coming through the turns 3 and 4 complex here once again at the start-finish line. The 21's going to have the advantage. He's your leader. It's still between the Belmonte and Barry Sanders for second. Just in back of them, the 29 ride, the 65 of Zinnerman going at it for third and fourth.
As the 6 of Belmonte able to get a little bit of position on Sanders. Sanders battles back on the top side. Now, Sanders does have a little bit of a tire advantage right now because he hasn't had to use the top side quite as much as Belmonte has. And right now you're seeing that out of the 88. He's able to get the run and defend on the top side. Because here comes Belmonte taking another shot at him coming through the dog leg.
Yeah, every time Belmonte takes a shot down low, Barry Sanders able to go up top and make it work because he, like you said, Tony, he hasn't had to run up top and really put that extra blister in on those Goodyears up from the top shelf.
And we're only about 7 laps from the stage caution as well.
And that's going to kick it up another level as well, as Barry Sanders once again forced to go up top and use what's left of those Goodyears as he tries to fend off Belmonte for that second place position. I mean, pick your poison. They are neck and neck. 88 has the advantage going into the corner. The 6 taking the shorter way around on the bottom. He's virtually able to squeeze out ahead, but that 88 getting that momentum, taking the longer way around the racetrack, that's keeping him pretty much neck and neck. The 65 of Zimmerman kind of stalling out the 88, perhaps, maybe just a little bit, as he's not sure who he wants to go with.
Well, it looks like he's going to go with his Ford stablemate right now, as Sanders, the only Chevy in the top 6. 3 Fords, 2 Toyotas, and the lone Chevy of Sanders. Oi!
Did you see that wiggle?
Belmonte just got sanked.
Ooh, shots fired, Tony.
Absolutely, as Zimmerman now all over the back bumper of the Chevy of Sanders. Battle for second, hot and heavy. Here comes Zimmerman up the inside, coming through the dog leg, looking to bring the Toyota of Chris Davis with him.
Yeah, Chris Davis right there. But look at this fight in that 88 machine of Barry Sanders. He has given everyone fits, looking like Ryan Newman out there on the racetrack. Tony, that's why catching him one thing, passing him's another, is now Zimmerman taking his chance at trying to get away around the 88. I believe those tires used up. Zimmerman's going to clear, but look at this. Sanders still trying to charge on the top side. That's going to open the door for Chris Davis, as they are now neck and neck for that 4th place position. The 29 has the advantage.
And don't look now,
88.
Kyle Holden is on a run. He may have learned something during that first stint, as he's now back into the top 10. As now Sanders and Belmonte going after each other for fourth. And Sanders, again, his tires may have been used up, but I don't want to jinx him, and I don't really want to mention it to jinx him, but Jeff Carson's into the top 10 for the first time tonight. Plus 18
spots.
Yep.
You knew it was only a matter of time, right, Tony? If should luck go that man's way for once, he's there.
We've had a long green flag run, almost 30 laps since the caution came out for incident. And, this is the time that we always see Jeff Carson's car wake up.
Yeah, it's awake. It's got some dynamite in it as well. The TNT.
And
Mr.
right now,
Thunderstruck himself.
Hunter Carmichael is in a Mullen sandwich. Dad and son currently have him split. Darren leading the way. Randy, the youngster, going to follow the old man through on the top side.
Hey, why not? It's working for him right now.
Absolutely.
Hunter Carmichael there continues to work the bottom. Jeff Carson in tow there, just about a car length and a half back of the three. And Wade Bowen right there as well. That's outside of the... Now caution on the racetrack, Tony. I believe this is the stage.
That's the stage. As Sullivan, Zimmerman, Davis, Holden, Belmonte, Sanders, both the Mullins, Carmichael, and Carson getting the final point.
All right, Carson.
As we are going to step away, pay a couple bills, and we'll be back with interviews after this. And we are back at Charlotte for the J. Crawford Builders 300 as part of the Moonshiners Racing Cup Series. I'm Tony Spasso. He's Matt Metler. And Matt, I believe you've got the driver of the number 81 with you right now.
Jeff Carson having a good luck revival for a change in the 81. Good things happen to you out on the racetrack, and look where you are. Biggest mover of the race, up 18 spots, and you find yourself in 10th. How's that hot rod performing through 92 laps of competition, sir?
I'm feeling pretty good. I have a long run set up, so I really need a long run to make any moves, and so hopefully this last stage here goes green the whole way so I can make my way up front.
You know, we oftentimes see you with a long run setup in that race car, and you're absolutely right. The longer you guys go, the faster that Camry gets. What's the strategy here for this last 100 laps or so for all intents and purposes? Keep it clean and keep it green?
Keep it clean, keep it green, and hopefully split it in the middle here with about 50 to go, and go for the checkered at the end.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Luck on his side tonight. Driver of the 81. He is currently in 10th, looking for more. Your biggest mover of the race, that is Jeff Carson. Tony, back to you.
Jeff, I'm putting you back in beast mode, right?
Yeah, beast mode. Yep.
Thank you, sir. And for those of you wondering when I asked that question after the interviews, the drivers are in different Discord servers depending on which team that they are on. As we just spoke with Jeff. He's a member of Beast Mode. We've got Warrior, Bullring Racing, Bad Boys, or Bad Boy Racing, and Full Throttle. Those are the big teams to keep an eye on, as well as Bullring and Warrior X. So, Matt, you got to love the team strategies here. We heard Carson, he's happy with his Camry. If this thing stays green, I think we're going to be talking to him again before the night's out.
That's a very strong possibility. And Tony, it's like we said before, if any of these guys that just have had, horrendous luck catch a break, it could be them in victory lane when the checkered flag falls. And it certainly looks like Jeff has gotten the monkey off his back, per se, as he sits there in 10th. Lights out on the pace car. That means the calm before the storm right now as these V8s get ready to roar back to life.
Hold on. We got a big shakeup here back in row number 4 for this restart. That's Darren and Randy Mullins going to restart next to each other. The kid in the inside, the pop on the outside. And, from hearing Darren earlier, where's the virtual middle finger when you need one? And they're like, hi, Dad. As they give each other a bunch of flack as they're racing with each other. It's always good to see stuff like that happen. When a father, son, or brothers, or, family members racing, it warms my heart because, it's something that anybody can do. And you don't have to be in the same house. You don't have to be in the same room. But you can get together and compete against each other from anywhere in the world. And that's the beauty of iRacing.
Speaking of father-son duos, and one of the best stories I ever heard is when Ralph Earnhardt was racing against his son Dale, old dirt track style, and Dale Earnhardt tried to get out of the way of his dad, just pulled over. What happened? Ralph just sat there and blistered the back of Dale Earnhardt's race car. Taught him a lesson that day that probably propelled him into greatness into the Cup Series, and that is you don't move over for anybody.
Pushed him into 4th.
Now,
mind you, Ralph was running a late model. Dale was running a Sportsman, which was a 6-cylinder at the time. Had absolutely no business being, anywhere at speed. Yeah, exactly. And Ralph just pushed his boy into the money that night. And it was great to see. Back on the old red clay.
Yeah, back on the red clay. Thanks for that, Tony. One of the better stories I've heard in recent years here in racing. As now the 21, he's going to have the button. Chad Sullivan outside of Bad Fast, Brandon Zimmerman in the 65, Justin Belmonte, Kyle Holden, and the HMFIC himself, the 88 of Barry Sanders, rounds out the top 5. Hold on, folks, because it has been haymakers aplenty here up front. Who is going to prevail here as we hone in towards that 100-lap mark here? Lights out on the pace car, 83 degrees the track temperature, 61% relative humidity. That sun is going to get ready to set. The afterburners are getting ready to light up the night sky here at Charlotte.
It already has. As you can see, those Moscow lights lit fully right now. As we go back to green flag action, Sullivan drops the hammer, and we are back underway as Belmonte and Zimmerman go door-to-door. Belmonte with the advantage going into 1.
Wow, look at the zooter Belmonte puts on Kyle Holden. He takes the spot there. Now Belmonte, the 65 of Zimmerman, that is second and third on the racetrack. And pulling in tow, you got the 88 of Barry Sanders, but looking towards the bottom, Eaton, that is Chris Davis in the 29.
Sanders would be wise just to let Davis go, slot in behind him, and then go to that knuckleball sparingly, as here come both the Mullins boys.
Yeah, the Mullins boys are mulling them down here tonight in competition. Is Darren Mullins very rarely makes an appearance in competition, but he is primed and ready to strike here tonight as he is live and well inside the top 10. Barry Sanders now hears Tony's words and gets to the bottom of the racetrack. Is now the 64s on the top shelf as he's raging war against the 29 of Chris Davis there, neck and neck, toe-to-toe. His son right behind him in the 54, trying to fend off a hard charge, and Jeff Carson in that 81.
Carson up to 9th. King on the top side, brushes the wall, coming off a 2. Door-to-door with Carson, going into 3. Battle for 10th, hot and heavy. Hunter Carmichael right there in the mix as well, sitting in 11th, as these guys have no give up in them. Battle for 3rd, as Zimmerman and Holden go door-to-door, coming through the dog leg.
It's a Zimmerman Holden special for the third, for that third spot on the racetrack. The 59 has it right now, but he's on the top side of the racetrack, really utilizing those good years. The 65 has him right where he wants him, as he's taking it around the easy way around the racetrack on the bottom. The 59 is going to surge ahead slightly, but the 65 pulling some toe off the 6 of Belmonte in second. Look at the wiggle out of the 59 as he's still trying. He has a barn burner being served up here. Right around that third place position is now the 88 of Barry Sanders throws his hat in the mix.
The lone Toyota in the top 5 is Holden on the top shelf up there. Barry Sanders was going to go with Zimmerman. Zimmerman and Holden still door-to-door for 3rd, as these guys are now pressuring Justin Belmonte for 2nd. It's Holden gets it. Belmonte has to chase it down the track. That's going to give Holden the opportunity. Holden back into 2nd after starting on the pole. These guys are just flat getting it tonight. Throw a blanket over your top 10.
All flat getting it, taking names and laying them down here in prime time under the lights. As finally the 59 of Kyle Holden holds on and is able to get down to the bottom. As here's Nick King serving up haymakers, working the top shelf again in the 4. 83 comes up the block, blasters the wall, is able to keep that Ollie's machine wound up as King looks for a path away, the light at the end of the tunnel to pilot around that 83 machine.
King's been going to that top side sparingly. He knows it can work in the early going. As right now, Sanders under heavy pressure from Chris Davis right now, coming through 3 and 4. Sanders it looks like he's gonna let Davis go, and just as I say that, no, he's not. As Sanders starts to battle back, as Darren Mullins going, all right, you guys need to figure this out quick because I want to go forward. Fast lap of the race, 29.85, Aaron Matthews in the Green River Tire Special. Currently sits in 14th. Nice run for him so far, but this battle up here, this battle up here for 5th and 6th is just a slugfest right now.
Yeah, it is in the trenches, World War II style right here. Ground warfare at its finest between the 88 of Barry Sanders, Chris Davis in the 29. Keep that 88 working that second groove. Make him burn his tires off as now he clears. But how much punishment? Battle for second place on the racetrack. Now the 59 ride going after Belmonte. They are door-to-door. Pick it right up where Barry Sanders and company left off. It is a drag race going to the turns 1 and 2 complex. Pick your boys in the 59, dead even with the 6 of Belmonte. All of this going on in front of Chad Sullivan. You know he's loving watching this in his rearview mirror.
Absolutely. As he sees those guys too wide, Zimmerman looking to find a hole as he's still door-to-door with Sanders. Sanders looking to make it 3 wide, thinks better of it. Does get the run, though. He's going to go with Holden on the top side. Give him a little bit of drafting help coming through the dog leg. I think he'd be better off doing that going into or down the backstretch. As hang on to her. The 6 of Belmonte sideways in the middle of 3 and 4. That's going to open the door for Sanders to get to his outside coming down the backstretch. Sanders gets the position going into 3.
Yeah, Sanders got the spot going into 3, and that's what he needs to do now. He needs to get down the racetrack just like he did there before those good years are absolutely cooked from all that running on the top shelf in that 88 machine. Look at all of this side-by-side action continuing there. There's a 64 of Mullins, the father, Darren Mullins, going at it with Warren Young, Nick King and company right there as well. There's the 5 of Aaron Matthews. He is in 10th right now, looking for more. Is that 83 of Tim Wortman Jr., up 11 spots in 11th position. He's on the charge as well.
As we are working lap 108 now of 200, 107 laps in the books. And, you know, these guys are racing it like we're coming to the final checkered flag here. It's not lap 198, it's lap 108, boys.
Yeah, only lap 108, not 198 like Tony was saying. But Tony, this is how they've been running pretty much this entire race up front here. It's been a barn burner from the drop of the initial green flag. Barry Sanders now really starting to stalk the back of Kyle Holden in that 59 ride. As Barry Sanders' car really starts to come on about 10 to 15 laps into the run. Aaron Matthews as well in that 5 machine, still continuing to impress here, working the top shelf, going up against Wortman Jr.
Wortman on the low side where we're deep enough into this run. We're about 20 laps in. And this is where you've already worn all the goodie off the tires. The long run cars are going to start their march forward now. And we already spoke to Jeff Carson, who's back in 13th again. He doesn't have a short run car. He's got a long run car. So the longer this thing stays green, the stronger and stronger that 81 is going to get. As we've got a battle for the lead now, as Holden wants it back, as he hasn't led since about lap 6.
Oh, we got 4 cars going at it for the lead, Tony. Here comes Kyle Holden, edging ever so slightly ahead of the 21 of Sullivan, who's charging back hard on the bottom. And don't look now, just a breath right behind the back of the 59. There you have Belmonte and Barry Sanders Jr. in the 88. They look like a strike force team in formation coming out of 3 and 4.
They absolutely are. Whoa, the 5, all sorts of sideways down the back chute. Aaron Matthews luckily saved it. I don't know how he's
Aaron Matthews.
As sideways as that car was, I thought for sure he was going around. However, he's not done yet. Dude, we're not on the road course.
Into the pits. Doesn't make contact. Now he finally maxed the wall.
He almost ended up in his own pit box.
Pit stop.
We stay green, though, as we're going to check back up at the front of this piece. As here comes Sullivan back to the inside of Holden going into 3.
Sullivan keeps on the pressure on the 59 of Kyle Holden. The 6 right there of Belmonte on the top shelf as well. Should he slip, he's looking to take the advantage. Barry Sanders going to get a good run working the bottom. Sanders is there as well. All of this going on at the front of the field as Aaron Matthews went for a wild ride through the road course part of the racetrack into the pits. As he was able finally to get it back underway, he's going to lose some precious time on the racetrack. As now Kyle Holden surges ahead back to the point as Chad Sullivan working on the 6 of Belmonte for second.
From second on back, it is a complete Waffle House situation coming through the corners here. As the 21, the 6, the 88, the 65, all right there, just taking slightly different lines, trying to get some clean air if they can. And don't look now, but here comes Chris Davis to the inside of King.
Yeah, there's King working the top shelf just like he's been pretty much all race long in that number 4 Ford Mustang. Oh, look at the 88, gets a little loose there coming off of 3 and 4 there. That win not helping anything. Is Belmonte and Zimmerman going back at it for second place once again. And the usual suspects, the herd is right there. Barry Sanders and company right off the back of this battle. Look at, big wreck.
Both Mullins cars involved in that one.
Randy Mullins, Rick Mullins, the 4 of King involved.
Let's watch this again. There you see the 4 of King on the top side. Just sideways, coming off of 2, bangs the wall. Darren Mullins nowhere to go. Randy Mullins gets tagged. Darren still trying to keep that car under him. And King goes around. See what the eye in the sky picked up as we go to the iRacing blimp. There you see King on the outside of the 29 of Davis. And he's just going to get on the loud pedal a little too aggressive and coming off a 2. Gets the back end out. Darren Mullins nowhere to go. Randy Mullins gets tagged in the quarter panel. Keeps the car off the wall, though. Darren Mullins, unfortunately, catches the race car to the face. And King doesn't look like he had big contact with the wall. And I'm not seeing any Bluetooth suspension on that car. Right side fender, looking a little worse for wear. But I think he still has his fast repair left.
Yeah, King should still have his fast repair left. And Tony, I thought there was a lot more damage to the front of King's Mustang. And just as that happens, wholesale pit stops is pit road. Now the hottest spot here in Concord is everyone on the lead lap down there getting service on their race cars, Tony.
Absolutely. And do we want to talk to anybody under this caution?
I know one thing. I'm talking to my water bottle here really quick while I get a chance.
Good call. As, you know what? We are going to reach out to... we're going to reach out to the driver of the 54, Randy Mullins. Talk us through what just happened.
It just looked like the 4 was starting to fade. His car was getting real free off. That's why I didn't want to push the issue and get up there. And about 3 laps later, he just he lost the rear end coming off of 2.
And unfortunately, your dad was in the direct line of fire and caught a race car to the face. Everything okay on his ride?
No, his steering got broke on that one, so that probably ended his night. I caught a little bit on the right front, but it was very mild damage, so I'll be okay. I hate to see him have to exit the race, but that's just bad luck. That's how it goes sometimes.
Now, do you guys have fast repairs or not?
We do not.
Okay, that answers that question then. Randy, best of luck to you as, I believe, where am I putting you? Bullring?
Yes, sir. Bullring Racing.
Well, Matt, you heard it there. Unfortunately, Darren might not be able to continue, and he has officially put it on the hauler, being scored in 28th currently. But Randy able to rebound, currently sits in 7th. But Kyle Holden winning the battle off pit road. It looks like everybody took 4 in fuel. So Kyle Holden, Justin Belmonte, Brandon Zimmerman, Chris Davis, Tim Wortman Jr., Chad Sullivan, Randy Mullins, Wayne Bowden, Warren Young, and Jeff Carson back into the top 10. And if we stay green from here, it is definitely going to play into Carson's hands. As you heard him say, he's going to split it up halfway. And he's going to kind of have to at this point, considering that we're going to be restarting here with about 80 to go. And we may have lost Matt. All right, then. Looks like the... yes, it is. That is the 16 of Jamison Middleman. It's looking to get one of his laps back, as he's currently sitting multiple laps down, but still plenty of time to get into the top 30 anyways. As there goes the free pass as the lights go out on the iRacing pace car. Kyle Holden going to have the button. Justin Belmonte going to be starting to his outside. Now, Belmonte is usually started on the inside lane. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do on that top shelf. As we know, Chris Davis is not afraid to hang it all on the line up there in no man's land up by the wall.
No, you're right. That 29 will let everything hang out there, including the underwear and all out there on the line in that 29 machine on the top shelf. And you're right, Belmonte is going to have to do it up top. He's been on the bottom. The way that you attack this racetrack, especially on cold tires, from the top to the bottom, they are vastly different. So let's see what the 6 has up the sleeve here on the restart, as he goes after a very fast and very hungry for a dub 59 and Kyle Holden.
Well, here's the other thing too. Holden, outside of row one is the absolute most difficult place to restart because you've got to look through a window net and the side of a headrest to be able to see. As you can see, Belmonte hanging back just a tick. So as soon as the 59 flinches, he can jump on it. There we go. We are back underway, and here comes the 65 of Zimmerman up the inside.
Oh, look at the 59 caught Belmonte on the snooze button, and the 65 is going to get by, and here comes the 29 of Davis. He's eating hard on the bottom as everyone's coming up through the gearbox, working lap 120 at 200. Just 80 laps to go is Mullins taking it to the ape inside of the racetrack, well out of the groove there. He's going to get it back up onto the racing surface there as the 29 of Chris Davis able to get around of Belmonte there on the restart. Look,
and we are back under caution.
Tony, thank you. Someone's got Bluetooth suspension big time.
And that is the 27 of Derek Jacobs. Paul Whitley catching a huge piece of it. Nick King having issues as well. Let's take a look at what happened with Jacobs here. There you see the 29. You see the cars scattering down the backstretch, and some of them on cold tires had to chase it down the track. 29 running the top side. Oh, Sanders got loose coming through 3. 74, 27, nowhere to go. And, King nowhere to go as well.
Heartbreak City.
Let's go back and take a look at what happened with Sanders to cause that. There you see Sanders on the top side, about mid-pack. Carmichael and just the 25 took the air off the 88. 74 nowhere to go. Ford gets run over from Shane Davis.
Oh, the scattered and flattered splatter out there on the racetrack, unfortunately.
There you see King Davis right behind him, who just got back on the lead lap. And King backed out of it. Davis didn't see it. And the 44 catching a huge piece of it. That's Caden Nofry. Just nowhere to go. You hate to see that. You really do. And Paul Whitley, talk about bad luck kids. If it wasn't for bad luck, Paul wouldn't have any luck at all either. Because watch what happens here. I mean, he's on the top side. He thinks he's safe. And Sanders just goes up the track. Nowhere to go. 74 starts to come down. 27's there. Fills the hole. And, I mean, it's a basic physics lesson at that point. Two solid objects cannot occupy the same moment of the space-time continuum.
Not even with the 1.21 gigawatts.
Not even close.
Break once again, as you said, Tony. Bluetooth suspension. He can't even get that car, that Camry, pointed even remotely straight. It's going to have to tow it back to the pits, as you see.
Good grief.
Just nothing Barry Sanders could do there. That's just a racing deal.
25 took all the air off him.
Yeah, just no way for that 88 to generate any downforce. And when that happens, that car's uncorked and off the chain going towards the wall. And that's all she wrote, unfortunately, is now we're back under caution here. Lap 123. Holding on to the lead here. Holding off feisty Brandon Zimmerman in that 65 ride. Justin Belmonte, he's been a force to been reckoned with all race long. Tim Wortman, Chad Sullivan, Bowen, Young and Carson, Jeff Carson in 8th, up 20 spots. Gillimore and Randy Mullins is your top 10. Any one of these guys has a chance to win this race.
As we're going to reach out now to the driver of the number 88, the Sandman, as you call him, the boss man, as I refer to him as, Barry Sanders Jr. What happened?
Not sure. It was just on the outside line. Race control came across, said it was net code, so I'm just going to assume it was pretty bad net code is what they're saying anyway.
From up here, it looked like the 25 had taken the air off their spoiler.
Oh, I don't know. Mr. Stevens came across the radio and said it was pretty bad net code and it wasn't even close.
There was no contact, just the back end of your car washed out, and it looked again a lot like just taking all the air off your spoiler or diffuser. But Barry, is the car damaged a lot?
No, it shouldn't be too bad. It had about 29 seconds or so there, so I think it'll be all right. I tried to fix a little bit of damage from scraping the wall earlier and put myself back here, so pretty much my fault for being back here in the hornet's nest, but we'll see what we can do to get back to the front.
Where am I moving you back to?
I don't know. I could probably get it.
Bad Boy Bull Ring?
I can do it.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Best of luck to you, Barry.
Thank you.
Barry.
And you could absolutely hear the dejection in his voice. He had absolutely no idea, what happened. All he knew is he was sideways quicker than he could blink, and all hell broke loose behind him.
Yeah, the gates of hell virtually opened up there on the racetrack. Multiple cars involved, including Nick King and others. But we still got some racing to do yet, don't we, Tony?
We absolutely do.
On the pace car, Holden and Zimmerman going to own the front row. Belmonte, Tim Wortman on the top shelf, row 2.
This is where Belmonte has been the most dangerous on restarts. Because you can see that control car fire better than you can on the outside of row 1. As here we go into the Geico restart zone. Keep your eye on the 6 as he times it almost perfect. Wow. Holden drops the hammer. Belmonte immediately goes with him. Zimmerman caught sleeping as Sullivan gets by him as well.
Man, look at Kyle Holden and Belmonte. Like you said, Tony, that 6 able to get the radar on the 59 times to restart with them. They take off.
Oh, no.
The 42 has an absolute cataclysmic impact with the inside retaining wall. Oh, no, the 78 is with them as well. What went wrong on the restart? There's the Summit Racing machine on the bottom. 78 working the top shelf here, Tony. All is well right now.
Somebody's going to get the wiggle. The 42 has to chase it up the track, and both straight into that inside safer barrier.
Oh, my face.
Yeah, that's no lie. As we're going to take a look at that one again. Here's what the eye in the sky picked up as we're on board with the iRacing blimp right now. Keep your eye on that Summit Racing 42 on the low side. He's going to get a little wiggle coming off of 2. He's going to have to chase it up the track. And just gets into the 78 as he had a slight wiggle and had to chase it down the track a little bit. And meeting of the minds, once those cars made contact, they were both just along for the ride into that safer barrier.
It's almost like they both wiggled a little bit at the same time.
As we're on board with Young right now. Let's watch this. As soon as he gets really on the aggressive on the loud pedal, there he goes. A little bit of a wiggle, and boop, bonk, done.
Oh, you see the back end of that 78 come up in the air.
There you see the 78 on the high side. There's that Toyota. And watch this thing hit.
It hits a ton. Oh.
You could see the top of the car. Like, you could actually read his name on the top of the car as he hit that inside safer barrier.
I mean, that was up in the air a ton. Safer barrier doing its job there.
Definitely not a comfortable feeling, I can tell you that much.
No.
As there they go, and watch the daylight. Oh, my goodness.
No matter how many times you watch it, it doesn't get any less painful.
Well, there's really our first, thank God this is a simulator moment of the night. Because I guarantee you, with as high off the ground as that rear end was, Wayne Bowden would have had a back injury for certain if this was not a simulator.
Oh, that would have been broken vertebrae for sure.
At least compressed, and you hate to see it, especially this late in a race. But I'll tell you,
did you see the front of the 42 just exploded?
it was gone. Yeah,
race car. It was gone.
it was like confetti.
Somebody got a souvenir in the stands that, I guarantee it, part of that front bumper came down there.
Nah. Guarantee you one of the campers on the backstretch probably ran out there and grabbed it. Probably one of the campers on the backstretch ran out there and grabbed it.
That's what I meant, Tony. Thank you.
Speaking of which, our home track, Watkins Glen, how many times have we seen idiots go out and grab the banners? Red flag on the back straightaway. Guy jumps the fence. Can I get an autograph?
Too many times, Tony.
Only at the Glen.
Only. Hey, it's all that partying they do during the night. They wake up, you're half loaded.
That's the thing. I mean, you go to Watkins Glen, and which is coming up here in about 2 months' time. You go to Watkins Glen for the party, and a race breaks out. That's about the best way to describe the Glen, folks.
That is,
and if you're going to do it, make sure you do it in a camper.
You have to do it in a camper.
Be there all weekend. Don't worry about traffic. Don't worry about hotels. Rent an RV. Go to the Glen. You owe it to yourself if you're a race fan. And while you're there are so many local short track Saturday night events in that area. You get into the Finger Lakes region. I mean, you've got, pick your poison. You got Weedsport, Canandaigua, Fulton Speedway.
I will say this. If you rent an RV in the heat of the moment, as good as it may sound, do not let them set it on fire.
Unless you've got really good insurance.
Tony, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Of course, it used to be the same thing at Dirt Week as, the grotto, as we used to call it. Saturday night, they'd have a monster bonfire. I remember a buddy of mine sitting on a couch on top of the bonfire, just sitting there drinking a beer. Going, like, dude, what are you doing? Just chilling. I
haven't seen that yet.
Get off the couch.
It's on fire. Literally.
Yeah, I know, man. It's a great race tonight. No, dude. Your butt's on fire. Oh. How drunk are you? 6 out of 10?
Hey, George, help me get off this couch, man.
You might want to rethink that. You're more than 6, bud. So lights 16. Are out on the pace car. Kyle Holden getting ready to pull the trigger. Belmonte, unfortunately, starting to his outside. It's going to give the advantage to Chad Sullivan as we get ready to turn him back loose. Into the Geico restart zone we go. As there we go. Holden drops the hammer. Belmonte tries to go with him. Sullivan gets a little bit better jump, moves alongside, battle for second going into 1.
Goose down on the inside. It's the 21 of Sullivan, who is really giving the 6 a run for his money. He's pushing him way up top, trying to take advantage of that momentum. Zimmerman comes to the help of this 21. He's giving him a push, pushes him up to the back of Belmonte, turns it up north to the high side. Look at the momentum by the 21. The 6 puts it on a flyer on the bottom. I can't believe the amount of speed the 6 carried through the bottom of the racetrack. And don't look now, but here comes Wortman Jr. Are you serious?
Wortman up 18 right now, currently your second biggest mover, and look who's not too far behind him, just on the other side of Brandon Zimmerman. That is the 81 of Carson, who's plus 22, and he's still not our biggest mover tonight. That belongs back to the 24 of Nick Atwood, plus 23.
Don't believe it, Tony, and look who's coming back into the picture. There's Barry Sanders in the 88. Who's still trying to get over what the heck just happened to me out on the racetrack as we are now working lap 132 at 200. Wortman Jr. really coming alive in that 83 machine, trying to take third place away there from the 21 of Chad Sullivan. He's got it, but Sullivan's going to fire back at the top side. Zimmerman sitting there just trying to figure out who he's going to go with, but he can't hesitate much longer because here comes Mullins in the 54.
Mullins on a charge on the top shelf, as we're still watching that battle for third. But I can tell you right now, Matt, we have not seen the money stop yet as Belmonte takes a big swing at it coming off a 2. Slingshot move. Holden's having none of it, hanging tough on the top shelf. Belmonte going to have to slot in for second right now. Still on the inside. Holden and Belmonte slugging it out for the lead, and they're bringing Sullivan with them. Sullivan starting to get a little frustrated. It's now Mullins and Zimmerman go door to door for 5th.
Look at Belmonte on the Ghost Peppers working the bottom. How is he able to carry that much speed on the bottom? That is insane. Belmonte takes it to the lead. Here comes the 21 of Sullivan with him, trying to get around Holden on the top side of the 59 ride. Here's the 83 Wortman's with him. The 21 has no help, but here comes the 54 of Mullins. He's going to come up to the back of that Ford Mustang, give him a little bit of an arrow shot into the corner there. Can he make it stick on the bottom? He does. Belmonte and Sullivan making it work down low. Going down to the turns 3 and 4 complex here one more time. It's a 3-man drag race. It's 6, making it stick, working on the bottom still. That car is just ripping on the bottom, Tony. How is he able to maintain that kind of speed? That is just insane. As this track temp continues to come down, it's really coming into the clutches of Belmonte in the 6, because that car is a laser right now on the racetrack.
Track temp going down. Air temperature going down. Horsepower, grip going up on both ends. Boy, that was a sketchy moment there. As now Mullins and Zimmerman going door to door for 5th again. Zimmerman with the advantage coming through 3 and 4. Almost, it puts Mullen into the wall. There was no almost about it there. And now they're almost 3 wide as Gillimore was thinking about it.
But look at this. Jeff Carson in the 81 able to clear. Does not get caught in adversity for a second time tonight. Is now that 81 is on the move, up 21 spots. That is Jeff Carson working on the inside of Mullins there. The 54 is going to take the advantage back on the top shelf. There is Gillimore with him in the 11. And the longer these cars run, as you said, Tony, the faster the 81 gets. And you're seeing that as he continues to charge towards the front with Lady Luck apparently on his side tonight.
Whether it's on a Wednesday or a Sunday, Carson sets up for the long run. And that's exactly what he's doing here tonight. We've got a slugfest for the lead again as Holden and Belmonte are just wearing each other out at the front of this thing. Holden now back to the point as Belmonte leans on him, coming through the dog leg. Belmonte now with the nose out front going into 1. Here comes Wortman looking to make it 3 wide. Belmonte gets the move done with the drafting help of Wortman. Wortman up to 2nd, Holden back to 3rd. Holden now under pressure from Zimmerman, throws the block going into 3.
I'm under siege here, take it.
Matt having big issues as right now Belmonte, Wortman, Holden, Zimmerman, Sullivan, your top 5 right now. Keep your eye on that 81 of Jeff Carson as Mullins has gotten back by him. Carson, the longer this thing stays green, the stronger Carson's going to get, so never fear for the 81. As now Mullins and Chad Sullivan go after each other. Mullins back into the top 5 for the first time in about 100 laps. Meanwhile, battle for second, Zimmerman on the top side, Holden on the low side. Door to door coming through the dog leg. Zimmerman trying to get it to eat on the bottom. Zimmerman goes to the top side, throws that knuckleball, strike 3, you're out. Kyle Holden.
But Zimmerman with a wiggle, he's going to turn it down low in front of the 59 machine. If he didn't do that, he certainly had a head of steam coming. They are door to door. Mullins on the top shelf, Zimmerman on the bottom. That's for 3rd place right now. They are racked and stacked for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. All playing the while, Justin Belmonte in the 6th continues to hold on to the lead. Wortman Jr. right there, up 20 spots in the 83.
Wortman Jr. up in the 2nd. We're watching this battle for 3rd between Mullins and Zimmerman. Mullins started outside row number 1. He called his shot early, said he might have something for these boys. That thing has really got some heat here in the closing lap as we are inside 60 to go. And Justin Sorrell goes through a ride through the infield in the 13. We stayed green. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to the Elite 13.
Code Brown.
There you see him on the top side or bottom side, working on Holden.
Of course, this is going to happen.
Sideways off of 4. Sideways off of 4. Nobody hits him.
No one hits him. But look how many times that car caught air. 4 times. And notice, the 81 gets through, Tony. The 81 is through. I can't believe it. Jeff Carson in the 81 catches another break.
He may have pooed himself, but he made it through.
That's why I said Code Brown.
And if you need you need your fire suit cleaned in the Greater Concord area, go to Skippy's on North Street. And we're under caution. Caden No Fry issues.
What? Go to Skippy's.
There's No Fry coming out of the pits. That Team Watson Toyota just kind of trying to get back up to speed, catches the bumps. He's flirting with it. Yep, caught the bumps coming off of pit road. Around she goes. That's considered a racing line. And we are back under caution. Now here's a good news, bad news situation, Matt.
Good news.
Good news. You can probably make it from here. Bad news. You're probably not going to want to.
That's exactly it. But here they come, leading the charge, Belmonte, the 83 of Wortman Jr., Randy Mullen, Zimmerman, Sullivan, Holden, Schmeets, Gillimore, and Carson. Now, Barry Sanders rounding out your top 10.
As a driver, Matt, let me ask you this all-important question. Do you gamble on 2 with as loose as these cars have been here in the closing laps?
Absolutely not. No way. Especially with the way these guys are just racing so hard, you're getting forced up to the top shelf. You got to go 4 here, Tony. If it was 20 laps to go, 25, I would consider 2 tires, especially if I was working the bottom.
And if you're Chris Davis, you don't take any as he stayed out.
Woo!
And that's got to piss off the 99 and the 16 as they were hoping to get wave arounds. But Davis was having none of it as Justin Belmonte wins the battle off pit road. If Davis pits, Belmonte's got a shot at this.
Yeah, Belmonte's got a real shot at this now, like you said, Tony. I mean, this track seems to be playing right into his hands. That Ford Mustang has just been lightning fast, especially on the bottom. That guy just getting around this racetrack quick, fast, and in a hurry. But how about Wortman Jr. in that 83? I mean, he's really come to life as well as he sits there in 3rd.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a great run out of him. Currently sits plus 19, tied for biggest mover with that 81 of Carson, who did lose 1 spot in the pits to Jordan Schmeets. No idea how, considering he had a better pit delta. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's because Davis stayed out. I apologize, folks. And that's why Carson is now down 1 spot from when that caution came out. But taking a look back at the front of this piece, looks like Shane Davis going to get the wave around. That's going to only put him 6 laps down. And looks like Shane should take the points lead without much of an issue. As unfortunately, Kenny Capola in 36 was the last one to take the green flag.
Yeah, and he got himself into trouble early. That car just was not to his liking. With 3rd shift duty calling, he decides to call it quits, puts it on the hauler early. And like you said, Tony, for Shane Davis, as all roads lead to Rome, all roads right now take him to the points lead in that 79 machine, even though he is multiple laps down in that scored right now on the racetrack.
Now, one of the 2 most dominant cars this season altogether. Now, we do need to give us a special shout-out to David Santini and Barry Stevens. Thank you both for being up in race control tonight. the eyes in the sky, making sure everybody's playing nicely. As
doing a great job, in fact.
Absolutely, they've been right on top of it. Missed that first stage caution, but hey, all's fair in love and racing. As Chris Davis gonna have the button when we go back to green, and this could get sketchy because Wortman's gonna fire off behind the 29 of Davis. Everybody except Davis is on fresh tires by about 20 laps.
That's a lot.
That's a ton, and it's going to be very easy for Davis to spin the tires as the lights have gone out on the iRacing pace car. Davis, Belmonte, Wortman, Zimmerman, Sullivan, Randy Mullins, Kyle Holden, Jordan Schmeets, Jeff Carson, and Paul Gillimore. Your top 10 as we currently sit, getting ready to restart with 52 laps to go.
Yeah, right now, the biggest wild card on this restart is going to be your leader right now, the 29 on Old Goodyear Eagles. Tony, you hit the nail on the head. Don't spin the tires. This whole field racked and stacked right behind him. Should those Goodyears slip, hopefully he doesn't let one rip in the form of the 83, the 65 and company right into that race car, as they are going to be looking to get good in the neighborhood when this checkered flag or this green flag falls back on the field. As they enter now the Geico restart zone to 29 of Chris Davis, going to have the button. Is he able to make it stick here? As he hits the loud pedal, and he does, he fires off. Here comes the 83 of Wortman Jr. getting a good restart. The 6 does not. The 65 of Zimmerman comes up to give him some help. Here comes the 6 charging back on the outside with the help of the 65 of Zimmerman. All this is Chris Davis is able to check out a Dodge as they are 2 by 2 stacked behind the leader.
Yeah, but the question is, Davis was last down on lap 127. I don't think he's got enough fuel to make it home from here. He's going to be begging for a caution here in about 20 laps. As right now, Davis and Wortman and Belmonte go door to door. That is your battle for second. They have not lifted yet since the green flag came back out, as we are now 51 to go.
51 to go, and you're right, Tony. They are lit at the front of this field as well. The 83 now gives way to the 6 of Belmonte. That's going to move him up to second. Wortman Jr. in third. The 65 of Zimmerman, who really gave the 6 a huge shot there on the restart, helped cover up his falter. I mean, that's a big reason why the 6 is where he is right now. There's Kyle Holden doing battle with the 54 of Mullins. Look how far down low Eaton, the 59 is of Kyle Holden right now around this racetrack.
The Chi-Town Hustler making that bottom lane work right now, as he's got watching a battle in front of him, as that is Sullivan and Zimmerman going door to door, coming through 3 and 4. Sullivan on the top shelf, Zimmerman on the bottom lane. And on fresh tires, Sullivan able to make it stick. Zimmerman going to drop back as here comes Davis and Belmonte. Belmonte still on the top shelf. Wortman goes up with him.
Yeah, Wortman goes up with him to help give the 6 of Belmonte that little extra nitro boost to go past the 29.
Oh!
And he does! Success at the front of the field is, I believe, caution.
No, they stayed green.
That's a miracle, as Barry Sanders, I believe, caught up again in the 88.
Let's watch this again. We're in the replay. Keep your eye on the 74 and the 88. This is going to be the second time tonight these two guys have gotten into each other.
Battle of the air.
And the 74 bangs the wall. Sanders nowhere to go. Just annihilates the pancakes the left side of the 88. That's lights out for Barry Sanders Jr.
Oh, Barry Sanders Jr. had such a great run going. And that was a final blow that 88 is going to be able to take there as he puts it into his pit box and immediately puts it on the hauler.
And while all that was happening, Justin Belmonte got the lead from, where the hell is he?
Chris Davis now in 7th.
And Davis is backsliding quickly. Old tires were not the way to go. Belmonte, Wortman, Sullivan, Holden, Zimmerman, now your top 5.
Yeah, with these guys running low 30-second lap times, I just knew with those older tires, on the 29 machine that he didn't have a chance. He would have needed a miracle. A lot of caution flags up to hold that position out in front. Is now all that four tire fire out there in the field, taking advantage of those worn out Goodyears. Is now Chris Davis finds himself all the way back to 8th.
Can I hit the dead horse too? We were talking about it earlier. You can make it from here, and if we do go from here, keep your eye on that 81, currently sitting in 7th place, plus 21. And he has already dodged a few bullets tonight. As Jeff Carson, the longer this run stays green, the stronger Carson is going to get, as we've got a battle for second. Really hot and heavy right now. It's Holden and Wortman just in a slugfest, and the 21 of Sullivan right there as well, ready to pace both of them.
Yeah, those guys, these two are trading positions multiple times a lap between Wortman and Holden there in second place right now, fighting for second place. Wortman now currently has it. The 21's going to come up and go with the 83. Look at the 59 really forcing the issue there. All over Peyton, the back of Wortman in that 83. The 29's going to come up there and take the outside lane. Can he use the momentum, those fresh Goodyears, to get around him on the top shelf? We're about to find out as we go into the turns. 1 and 2 complex here is the 21 is going to send it on the top shelf. What a move.
Holden grabs the apron going into 1, somehow gets that thing to stick. Still side by side with Sullivan down the back straightaway. Sullivan gets a little bit better run coming off a 2. Here comes Holden back on him. That Chi-Town Hustler is really trying to hustle it right now, as he wants to be the first man outside of Shane Davis or Kenny Coppola to win from pole this year. Wortman goes up the track going into 1. Holden now gets to his inside. Sullivan now on the attack as well.
Oh, man, this is getting good in the neighborhood for third place, Tony. My goodness, third place. I mean, 83 all the way up top of the racetrack now, just barely about caught a piece of the wall there. Gets loose coming through the tri-oval. That's going to give the advantage back to the 21. Here he comes on the bottom. He does a little bit of a dance of his own. And here comes Mullins in the 54. Lurking is the 83. And the 21 is Sullivan are going at it. Jay, battle for the lead now up front. Kyle Holden going at for the 6 of Belmonte. And he clears the 6 with the power move on the top shelf.
Holden back to the lead. Belmonte back to second. Sullivan and Wortman still door to door for third. These guys have not given an inch yet, as Randy Mullins looking to claw his way back towards the front, back into the top 5. And don't look now, but that's Jeff Carson sitting in 7th right behind him.
Yeah, Jeff Carson right there. He is primed as he'll ever be in this series, as he's escaped the fate right now of certain death a few times tonight. And he is there, as Tony just said, in 7th position, hanging right off the back of the 65 of Zimmerman. There he is, Jeff Carson. Has the look finally turned his way? Is the lady now on his side? We're about to find out, as we are now working lap 162 of the scheduled 200 distance here tonight, as Kyle Holden continues to carry the torch out in front over Belmonte, Chad Sullivan, Tim Wortman Jr., and Randy Mullins. That's your top 5 as they run right now.
And another guy who is back on a recovery drive, Nick King, back even with the board. Started 13th, now back into 13th, as he is hounding Kane Lee in the 25 right in front of him, as that's another slugfest between Crawford and Schmeets, and Huff right there as well. Those guys have been going after each other for the last couple of laps. But getting back up here into the top 5, Wortman goes way to the high side and opens the door for Mullins to shove it in there on the inside. And the 65 of Zimmerman looking to follow him through. Wortman slams the door on Zimmerman and then goes right back up the track. Zimmerman may have given him a shot to move him out of the way. And here comes Carson up the inside.
Here comes Carson in the 81. Can you tell the clock is ticking as that 81 starts to dial up the noise? Right out of the back, close it in on Zimmerman. Is going to make quick work here of the 83 of Wortman. No, he's not. Wortman's going to fight back hard on the outside. It's a slugfest at the start-finish line as they go into the turns 1 and 2 complex one more time. Carson with the advantage, but is Wortman going to try and fire back with the momentum? No, he's going to tuck it in inside of the 81, move Jeff Carson up to 6, and knock it on the back door of the top 5.
As we got a battle for the lead, still hot and heavy as Belmonte takes another shot at Holden, coming through 3 and 4. Lap 165 getting ready to be put in the books as Belmonte gets a good run off of 4, gets the nose out front going into 1. Holden battles back on the high side. Belmonte has used that bottom feeder line all night to make moves. Holden battles back. The Chi-Town Hustler hustling it right now on the top shelf. Makes the move stick as he sends it going into 3.
Oh, he takes the candy out of the drawer and steals it from the 6. And oh, there's a big nose slide there out of Belmonte. That's going to put the bumper of the 21 right on the rear deck lid of the 6 of Belmonte. Oh, my goodness. And all that going on. Here comes Mullins in the 54 knocking on the back door.
Mullins, Zimmerman, and Carson all right there. Carson's got some breathing room as he's got about a second gap back to Paul Gillimore in 7th. And this is that time. You know, we're about 20 laps into this current tire run. Carson wakes up at this time, and he is within striking distance right now. Throw a blanket over your top 6.
Yeah, Carson up 22 spots in 6th, all over the back of Zimmerman in the 65. Carson looks up top. He looks down low. And as I say that, here goes Belmonte eating back on the bottom again, trying to take back what the Chi-Town Hustler took from him just 2 laps ago at the start-finish line. It's a drag race. It's going to be the 6 still in 2nd, but now has the advantage going back into turns 1. Look at the 59 hanging tough, using up those good years on the top shelf. Belmonte should be able to clear here and does as the 59 now falls. Oh, look at the door slamming job he just put on the 21 of Sullivan. Don't know if he planned it that way, but look at the run the 59 got all the way into the back bumper of the Belmonte. Is now the 21 all over the back of Holden.
Well, coming down the back straightaway and out of turn number 2, the 59 slammed the door on Sullivan. Sullivan, nowhere to go, actually gave the 59 a shot to close the gap back on Belmonte. Mullins backed out of it a little bit. Big tail wiggle for Sullivan coming out at 2. That's going to let Mullins get closer and closer to him. Top 3 is now the top 7 as they run stem to stern as Paul Gillimore has gotten clear of Crawford and Wortman, and he's now closing in on the tail end of this group.
Closing is, in fact, he is, Tony. A little bit of breathing room now out inside the top 3, but look at Jeff Carson. When is he really going to hit that switch and hit the go? Hold on to it. Oh, the 65 got a major tail wiggle there. Here comes the 11 on the inside of Carson as Carson had to check up big time. But nonetheless, Carson escapes another bullet in that 81 as there is no damage on that TRD machine as he's working the top shelf under duress from the 11 of Gillimore in 6th. Carson now up 23 spots to 5th. He's going to clear the 11 back.
And get right back to the low side. Carson into the top 5, sits plus 23, your biggest mover by far of tonight.
Carson is coming.
Oh, man.
He's bringing Paul Gillimore with him in that 11 Pepsi machine. That little throwback paint job we've seen debuted back at Darlington, or I want to say even Wilkesboro a couple weeks back. But
no, it was Darlington. It was Darlington.
That was good-looking paint job or paint scheme on that 11 machine.
He had the yellow paint scheme at Wilkesboro.
Thank you, Tony. That's correct.
But right now, Justin Belmonte is starting to stretch his legs. As he's got some breathing room right now, as Holden and Sullivan starting to heat things up, as now Carson on Mullins. Carson into 4th.
Here comes Carson in the 81. Tony, we knew he could do this all season long. Should a couple things just go right for the snake-bitten driver of that 81 from Cross Junction, Virginia. In the J. Crawford Builders 300, Jeff Carson looking to right the wrong here tonight as he's now up to 4th, chasing down Kyle Holden in the 59. working all over the back of Sullivan. Someone needs to tell these two that 81's coming quick, fast, and in a hurry. As you can see him now into the same frame. Here comes Jeff Carson in the 81. Last time by, he was the fastest car on the racetrack at a 30.80 compared to the leaders 34.84 and 30.84. Jeff Carson, the fastest car on the track, and running them down in the 81.
30.80 with a 9, and you compare, he was almost a half second quicker than Holden in front of him, as Holden and Sullivan were going door to door. Now, Belmonte is stretched out almost over a full second to the good, as Carson continues to just hound Holden, reeling him in, picks up another full 10th on him there, as Holden's starting to struggle here in the late going of this fuel run.
And that would make sense, Tony. I mean, we saw just how bad these guys were doing it to the death up here for the, for the top spot. The 59 of Kyle Holden included, as is the 21 of Sullivan. This all is made it a best case scenario for Jeff Carson there, who makes up a 10th in a corner, it seems at times, in that Toyota Camry. There he is now, just off the back of Holden in the 81. How much time does he waste before he pulls the trigger here? I bet you Jeff's going to take it down low here to the inside, just where that Camry likes to be. That 59 is going to come down and throw the block.
Well, I hate to say it, but we're about to see the unstoppable object meeting the immovable force, as Carson is coming, and he's coming in a hurry.
Yes, he is.
Right now, Belmonte a second and a quarter to the good. Sullivan out there as well, as Holden has got a rearview mirror filled with another Toyota Camry. As now Carson looks to the inside, Holden goes to the top shelf to try to defend. Carson has been able to make that move. Little bit of a wiggle out of the 81. Still with the nose out front coming to the line. It's just a matter of time. Carson getting onto the podium, gets the clear going into one.
Gets the clear going into one. Carson now into third in that podium spot for the first time in a long time. As Tony just said, now who does he set his sights on? The 21 of Chad Sullivan. He is in second. There's the 59 of Holden, giving everything he can. The little less breath of tire left in those good years, perhaps, as we now have just 20 laps to go. 65 of Zinnerman holding tough as well, working just behind the 59 of Holden. Look at Holden trying to get that car rotating on the top shelf, but just not enough as Jeff Carson continues to be the fastest car out there on the racetrack.
Now, with that last time by, Sullivan was dealing with Holden. Is now Holden on the defense again as Zimmerman looking to the inside. This is going to spring Carson free. What does he have left, as we are now officially 20 to go, as Zimmerman gets by Holden coming through the dog leg. Sullivan still continuing to step a little bit away. I'm thinking Sullivan's really turned the wick up right now, as let's take a look comparing Sullivan to Belmonte. They were dead even last time by at 30.90s.
Yeah, 30.90s apiece, and Jeff Carson slightly slower at a 31.06. But let's see what happens now that Carson gets away and gets some breathing room over the 65 now of Brandon Zimmerman. That time at the line, Jeff Carson slightly faster at a 31.03. Chad Sullivan a 31.06. Fastest car on the racetrack that lap. Your leader, Justin Belmonte, at a 30.89.
Belmonte may have saved just enough, and something just happened to Paul Whitley. Oh, that car's a mess.
Oh, that car is destroyed.
What happened to Paul? That is Barry Sanders right in front of him. Oh, please tell me these two didn't get together again.
Not for the third time.
Yep, they did.
Oh, yep, they did. Oh,
Snap,
no.
see you, bye. Boom.
Snap, crackle, pop. And the 74 is Howitzer, as he's going to do the dance, the damage dance, right there at the tri-oval spot portion of the racetrack, right in front of the grandstands. He immediately throws it to pit road.
He got it onto the grass, so we stay green, as we're going to check back in with this battle up here. That is the 24, who is a lap car. That's Nicholas Atwood. He came down pit road on lap 166. So 4 fresh tires for him. That's why he made
Here
that.
comes Zimmerman.
And that opens the door for Zimmerman. As Carson was going to let him go, Zimmerman now turns the wick up. Carson going to battle back, looking to cross him over. 16 to go.
16 laps to go. Just over 30 miles remaining here in tonight's scheduled distance. 200 laps from Concord, North Carolina, from the Moonshiners Racing Cup Series right here on SRM. If you're new to the channel, make sure you smash the like button, ring the bell, come home to SRM, the only place you're going to find the Moonshiners Racing Cup Series and some of the most electric, high-flying eSIM racing action right here on the net. That's right here on SRM. As you see, Zimmerman continuing to edge out the 81 of Jeff Carson, who's up 24 spots, your biggest mover tonight. Back up front, business as usual for Justin Belmonte. Continues to be the fastest car on the racing circuit at a 31.06 the last time by. Everyone else in the 31.1s and the 31.2s. As you see here, the 59 and Carmichael now. The Carmichael in that 8th place position was a bigger factor earlier on in this one, but then Carmichael found himself into some trouble, a little bit of damage on that Camaro. Hasn't been quite the same since, as he's now trying to find a way around that 59 of Kyle Holden.
And Holden, again, went way too hard way early on these tires. It's now Carmichael on the attack, and there's nothing Kyle Holden can do to stop it, as that car is completely worn flat out as far as tires. Shane Davis up there as well, a lap car, multiple laps down right now. Going to leave here with the points lead, as there is Davis, currently right behind the 41. That is Jordan Schmeetz in 6th. And Paul Gillimore in 5th, right in front of him. And right now, I'll tell you right now, the last thing Jeff Carson wants to see is a caution flag, as he has started to reel Zimmerman back in. And just as I say that, Zimmerman gets a little bit better run, a little sideways coming off of 4. Zimmerman still got to hang on. That's the thing. As now Schmeetz and Gillimore start to heat things up for 5th.
Yeah, Schmeetz is all over the back of Gillimore in that 11. There's the 79 there as well, but he is not on the lead lap. He is multiple laps down, but he should be your points leader coming out of here from Concord, North Carolina. Shane Davis in the 79 machine. Here comes Carmichael. Look at the run from Carmichael as he rips it on the bottom. Now takes it to the top shelf as he's trying to find a way around Schmeetz.
That was actually the 79 of Davis. No, don't do it again.
No. Coach, I can't watch.
Gillimore had it spotted and went, yep, I don't want any part of that 3 wide.
Yep, he lifted big time.
And that's going to open the door for Schmeetz and Carmichael to get to him again. A little bit of contact looked like as Schmeetz moved Gillimore up the track. Carmichael sideways off of 4 through the grass.
Carmichael catches air going across the start-finish line.
It's the second time he's done that tonight.
You know what? There's got to be something to this at Charlotte getting down low and catching some air and putting it right back up into competition. As he almost makes it look easy, Tony.
He almost makes it look easy, but I guarantee you it's not, as we have 10 to go. As now Davis, hang on to her, Jeff Carson. Sideways off of 4. Davis hounded him now. Now Davis is a lap car, doesn't have to worry about it for position. As Gillimore and Carmichael going door to door for 6.
Now 9 laps to go in competition. The 59 of Holden, he has really just burned those Goodyears right off of that Camry. Nothing left in the tire department for that 59 ride as he continues to hold on here, trying to make a last-minute charge here for 7th on the back of Paul Gillimore in the 11. Butter Carmichael just in front of him. That's for 6th spot on the racetrack in the 3 machine. Jordan Schmeetz up 16 spots. That's the 5th, the 41 ride. As they continue to get a little more strung out here in the later going of this race, Tony. There he is, the 41 machine. Back to Jeff Carson. The 21 now closing in on the 65 of Zimmerman. That's for second place on the racetrack. Where is Zimmerman came from? He just seemed like he shot out of a cannon. Was he saving? Was he,
No,
playing
Sullivan
the
was
field?
sideways. That's what happened.
Thank you, Tony. I thought there was something. I had to explain what happened there. As Sullivan was sideways on the racetrack, Zimmerman able to capitalize. Is just 7 laps to go on the ticker. Everyone, all pointing to Justin Belmonte in that 6 machine. Has some great colors on that race car to be out in front here under the lights in Charlotte. Does he have enough left in the tank to get it home? 10 miles to go here this time at the line.
6 laps to go here at Charlotte. Belmonte with a 3.5 second gap back to that man, Brandon Zimmerman, who's got Chad Sullivan and Jeff Carson and Jordan Speech and Hunter Carmichael all within striking distance. This is where all those voices start talking to you. What was that noise? What was this noise? Does the car feel any different? This is, with the handshake lap left, 5 to go, all those gremlins start going through your mind of, can I make it home from here? Did I use too much tire? Am I going to be able to hold off any charges? As Sullivan's starting to reel Zimmerman back in.
Yeah, he certainly is reeling him back in, as Tony's quoting motionless in white voices, literally with 5 laps to go out on the racetrack. Zimmerman currently on second.
Sullivan just pancaked the wall off of 4.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. The 21 just ate the wall. That's going to open the door for Jeff Carson. Here he is coming into the frame in the 81.
Carson's got a half a second to make up. Can he do it? As we're coming to 3 to go, Carson is running out of time.
And Shane Davis was pushing Carson on the backstretch. We was giving him one heck of a bump draft to the 81. It was unbelievable.
Last time by, Carson was a little bit quicker than Sullivan. This time by, quicker still, but he's not making up enough time. Sullivan still 0.4 seconds to the good.
Pushing the 81 again. I love it.
He's doing what he can to get that Toyota up there. Everybody, Jeff Carson's one of those guys that,
you can't help but not root for him.
Absolutely. As we are 2 to go, Belmonte 3.5 seconds to the good. Zimmerman and Sullivan have a half-second gap between the two of them for second and third. As Sullivan is closing in, Carson's closing in. If Sullivan has one slip-up.
Look at this. I love it. They're not even teammates, Tony. Not to cut you off. Shane Davis is sending a flyer up off the top shelf. Comes down on the straightaway and just packs it in behind Carson.
White flag in the air. We are racing back to checkers.
We are racing back to checkers, and with the help of Shane P. Davis, Carson is there virtually off the back of the 21. Does he have any more magic in the tank? Can the 79 get back to the bumper again? He does. Can he shoot him into 3 and 4?
No, not close enough. Belmonte comes off of 4 to the stripe. He is going to win here tonight in the Queen City. Zimmerman hangs on for second. Sullivan in third. Carson in fourth. Schmeetz hanging on for the top 5.
What a roller coaster demon ride these guys have taken us on. From the drop of the green flag, Justin Belmonte gets it done here in prime time under the lights in Charlotte. Brandon Zimmerman comes up just a little bit short. Chad Sullivan, Jeff Carson, I see you. Rounding out your top 4, Jordan Schmeetz in 5th. Burn it down, baby. You earn this one. Get the rest of the good out of that Ford Mustang. It's a smoke fest here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway start-finish line as he's turning and burning in the 6th.
Absolutely. And, Matt, I believe you've got our race winner with you now.
Justin Belmonte, Matt and Tony in the booth. You got us, bud.
Yes, sir. How's it going, man?
Oh, man, it is going great as we watched you and the rest of you boys put on another slugfest again under the lights. How were you able to fend off the field that last run and put that 6 in victory lane?
It was intense racing the whole time, dude. It was pretty good racing all around, up front at least. I don't know, man. Getting clean air was huge at the end there, and I think I knew all the stages. I had a pretty good long run car, so when I think it was Kyle got by me, I kind of let him go for a little while, and hoped that Chad couldn't get by me either, because then I would have. Oh, but it worked out pretty good.
That last run there, especially, that car was really flying as you had that thing on rails around the bottom. Was that part of the success to having that car so quick on the long run as well, not going up top and burning up those good years?
Yeah, big time. Getting down on those restarts. I was able to go from, I think I restarted second 2 or 3 times, and each time I was down by turn 3. I was good to go. Anytime I ran up top, I think stage 2 or 3, I got pretty free at the end of the stage, and I was hanging on, so I was glad I was able to get down.
Yeah, so obviously strategy and knowing where to put your car on the racetrack coming into play here. Justin, that's a big statement win for you tonight. What does this do in terms of momentum for yourself and for your team moving forward?
Oh, it's big time, man. We've been pretty close. We've been getting there. I qualified good for once, for the first time all season. I didn't hit a wall. That was pretty cool. And so that helped big time. But I've been slowly climbing up. Slowly moving up, so this will help jump me up a bit, lock me into the playoffs. That's pretty huge.
Well, there you hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Riding the tide on that positive vibe. Your winner tonight, Justin Belmonte in the 6th. Before we cut you loose, who do you want to thank? Who helps you get it done each and every week on that number 6 machine?
Shout out Team Watson, big time. They Kenny put this car up. I didn't change a thing. I think I put a half a pound into tire pressure in one of the tires. That was it, the whole race. Pretty awesome.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Gets the dub tonight. Big shout out to Team Watson Racing. He is your winner, Justin Belmonte. Tony, back to you, brother.
Now, joining me now is the man who came up just a tick short here tonight, Brandon Zimmerman. All things considered, you got a podium finish at the home of NASCAR. How you feeling?
I'm feeling really good, man. I'm very happy with that. Good points tonight. Got some good stage points. Very clean run to the end there, and happy with P2. I couldn't catch Justin there, but I'm happy with P2.
Well, P2 is a very strong one. You led quite a few laps here tonight at Charlotte. How bad was the tire wear when you guys had those long runs?
Towards the end, I was hanging on for dear life. I was saving, but then the cautions kept messing me up. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to save no more. And then, of course, there's no more cautions. So towards the end there, I was holding on for dear life. That right rear was screaming. But luckily, Kenny and Team Watson, they gave me a good setup, and I was able to hold on.
Yeah, absolutely. But, we go into next week. It's a big change as we go to Worldwide Tech Raceway at Gateway. What are your thoughts going into that one?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it at all. I'm not good there. Yeah, I'm not good there. I don't like all the shifting. It's going to be an eventful race, to say the least. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that one at all. I'm not going to lie to you.
Fair enough. Brandon, who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate this podium with your team?
Shout out to Roasted Gems Coffee, Kenny and Team Watson. They're building great setups, and they keep them coming all week. They keep working on them, making them better and better. And thank you guys for what y'all do and broadcasting these races. And that's about it, buddy.
All right, Brandon Zimmerman, congratulations. We will see you next week at Gateway.
Thank you, sir.
And Matt, I believe you've got the man who just barely held off our biggest mover of the night with you now.
Hey, Bad Chad Sullivan, Matt in the booth, and Tony, you got me, sir.
Yes, sir. How you doing, fellas?
Woo! Tony and I are getting spoiled with you boys and the performances you're putting on each and every Wednesday night. I mean, you want to talk about modern warfare versus, on a racetrack. That was tonight. How were you able to weather the storm and come home third in that 21?
Street for Speed Labs, Raging Cajun Bell Bonds Ford Mustang. Man, that's a great car tonight. Driver needs a little help, but I somehow got lucky, stayed out of the mess, and tried not to wear the car out, wear the right rear out, and I got to get better. I think the car was good, but man, hats off to the Justin Belmonte and Zimmerman there. They had some hot rods too there. It was a fun race. Fun race. Just trying to stay out of trouble, stay out of the wall.
You know, survive and alive. We hear that a lot, especially tonight here at Charlotte. What did you do anything different tonight, the way that you prepared and attacked this race versus other races in the year that you were able to really shine here tonight under the lights?
I just tried not to overdrive the car early, and it was really hard because if you didn't overdrive a little bit, you was dropping back 10, 15 spots. There's that fine line between driving hard enough to hold your position and maybe gain one there and there if the guy in front of you slipped up. So I just tried not to make any mistakes. And that's the last 2 weeks I laid an egg that I've been able to race and wrecked on lap 1, lap 2, and all my fault. So I feel horrible for the guys that put all the hard work in, and then I go out there and lay an egg. So tonight I just want to make sure I finished.
Well, you heard him right there. Chad Sullivan laid an egg in his own words, but tonight goes out and grabs the golden goose. It is able to come home third. Chad, what a drive. Well executed on your end and your team. Who do you want to thank? Who helps you get it done?
I'd like to thank Reaper Speed Labs for sponsoring me and Racing Cajun bail bonds, and those guys that put all the hard work into the setups, and I'm just the lucky guy that gets to drive them.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, fired up, coming home third. Chad Sullivan in the 21 gets it done. Tony, back to you.
And that looked like a fun one as we put another one in the books. Justin Belmonte, Brandon Zimmerman, Chad Sullivan. We spoke to those 4 guys. Congratulations to Jeff Carson for not only finishing on the lead lap, but getting his first top 5 of the season. Jordan Schmeets rounding out the... Thank you. Barry, please take that away from him. Jordan Schmeets rounding out your top 5. Hunter Carmichael, Kyle Holden, Paul Gilmore, Garrett Crawford, Chris Davis rounding out your top 10. Randy Mullins tried to call his shot earlier before we went on the air. Not too shabby. Just finishes just outside the top 10. Justin Sorrell, Tim Wortman, and Nick King rounding out the top half of the field. Matt?
In 15th, John Binder, going to come home there in the 33 machine. In 16th, David Balisari, Ryan Huff, Crip Spear, Jeff Taylor, Nicholas Atwood round out the top 20. Shane Davis, Paul Whitley, Barry Sanders Jr., Jamison Middlemiss, and Kane Lee. That's your top 25. Daryl Klotz, Wayne Bowman, Warren Young, Derek Jacobs, Caden Norfry. That's your top 30. 31st belongs to Darren Mullins. 32nd, Aaron Matthews. Ed Boyles Jr., 33rd. Matt Mackin comes home 34th. 35th belongs to Bobby Justice. 36th, Sasquatch, a.k.a. Kenny Capalla. 37th, David.
Hold it. David and Barry were up in the booth for race control.
That's right. Thank you. That rounds out the top finishers tonight from Concord, North Carolina, the home of NASCAR under the lights in prime time.
And that is going to do it for us here tonight on Sim Racing Media. Thank you so much for making this part of your Wednesday evening. And, Matt, I don't know about you, but these guys are fast becoming one of my favorite leagues that we get to broadcast.
Oh, on the fast track to the number 1 in my book as well, Tony, is once again they serve up greatness. I mean, you ever wonder how hard can you possibly fight at the front of the field and not just send cars flying like missiles, uncontrolled missiles around each and every corner? I mean, these guys are just doing it at a very high level right now. The action's off the charts. The racing's even better. My God, do I love Wednesday nights.
Absolutely. And if you love Wednesday nights too, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action here on Sim Racing Media, as we have racing 7 nights a week. As we're getting ready to pick back up with a couple more leagues, a couple of new leagues coming in a little bit later. But Matt, it's been a great one. He's Matt Metler. I'm Tony Trapasso, reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, that as you walk down the road of life this week, do us all a favor. Don't play in traffic. We'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.